for the love of people and people of love. Sign up and start dating today. WeThePeople.dating. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of a partner.
Hey, it's Doc Thompson. Got the new show on MoJo 50 coming up. Hopefully you'll join us for that. And as a regular feature, my good friend, my life partner, Chef Patrick Mosier. I mean that in a food sort of way.
I would hope so.
Yeah. You'll be joining us on the broadcast as well?
Absolutely. Every day that you ask me to.
Talking food and business and prostitutes, right? Because you're the food biz pro, and that's what the pro's for.
It's all about cocaine and hookers.
It's all about cocaine and hookers until somebody gets arrested. And then it's about the legal system. And, well, you get the point. We'll be talking food and food trends and business. And, of course, we'll be spotlighting business, as I always have on my broadcast. But Chef Patrick Mosier will join us, and he has his own platform starting soon on Spoonie Radio.
Spoonie Radio, 24-hour food talk radio.
Can you really talk about food for 24 hours a day?
I could, but even I don't want to listen to myself talk about food for 24 hours. So we will have...
Somebody will.
Someone will be on the air 24 hours a day talking food, fun, travel, culture, and more than anything, food.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us, our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com, use promo code DOC, and get 15% off your purchase. That's neverforgottenapparel.com.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you. The mothership has landed. Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. The mighty MoJo 50.
We got some breaking news coming in. Broward County has just found 14,321 missing ballots, showing that Dewey did defeat Truman, that purple beat blue for the 1995 new M&M color, and Clay Aikens is Season 2's American Idol. So that is all just coming out right now.
It's a gold mine. It's a gold mine.
By the way, this just coming in also out of Broward County. Only 2 out of 5 dentists actually surveyed would recommend Trident to their patients who chew gum. The count goes on, though, so maybe those numbers will change by this afternoon.
It's possible.
I mean, pink could be the new M&M color from 1995. Yes. Who knows?
Absolutely.
And maybe there's a third-party candidate. Maybe it wasn't Dewey or Truman. Could have been neither one.
This is also good news for Ross Perot.
That's right. And Gore may still have a shot at this thing.
And they're saying it all with a straight face.
Crap, folks. Come on. We've had 240 plus years to get this right, and you can still. Nope. Even if you say, well, it's modern times, fine. We've had 18 years to get this right since Bush v. Gore.
Well, we've had other things on our mind. You can't fix all the problems.
Come on. This is the reason when they keep mentioning early voting and people are like, it's democracy, it's wonderful, early voting. And I keep saying, no, this is crap. This is somehow, nobody out there is truly honest when they say, well, we want early voting because we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity. Crap. That's crap. Anybody who says that is working some sort of damn angle where they think their party or people who look like them or their agenda is somehow going to have a leg up. I don't care if it's Democrat, Republican, anybody or most people who would say, well, we've got to go ahead and change these votes. No, you're working some sort of damn angle.
Yeah.
If you're being honest, you'd say, let's come up with a system where everybody gets a shot at this thing and be done with it. If you have early you're going to have early voting for a month. Fine. Why not make it 6 months? Why not start early voting the day after the next election?
Well, you can't do that because then you don't know who the candidates are. That's stupid.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why not stop? Why not start? Go ahead. Whoever is on the ballot at that moment, you get to vote for. That's it. There's nobody on the ballot. Well, I voted, though.
That would streamline the primaries.
Sure. Right.
That'd make it a whole lot simpler. Yeah.
What a bunch of crap. How about this? How about we pick a day and everyone goes in and votes, and if it's not done, then that's it.
That is radical. That is such a radical idea.
What about people who can't get in and vote? Tough.
And here's the best. If we just have one day, do we have to have them show ID or can they just show up?
Oh, I don't even think you have to show up. You can just say so you're there to vote for somebody else. And they gave you permission, a note from their mom, something.
Yep.
All right. The only exception I will give is active duty military.
Yes.
If you can prove that you are unable because of your duties to vote. You're out of the area for whatever the reason. Otherwise, sorry, you got to go in and vote. That's the only exception I'm willing to give now. What about the infirmed? I'm sorry, as soon as you open that up, the whole damn thing, where does it stop? Well, you know what? I had to go out of town from work. You know what? Then prioritize it. I mean, I guess I'd be open to some sort of, if you can prove you're going to be out of work, offer some sort of in-person voting.
Yeah.
Maybe the infirmed get official poll worker becomes they wheel the machine.
Is this the one you wanted to vote for? Just nod once.
Yeah,
I push the button for you.
Where does that stop? Right.
Right.
We've had cases where nursing home workers have voted Mr. Staggs. He's not Mr. Staggs. You want to vote straight Democrat, right? Straight, you're very excited. Straight Democrat. Okay. Here, let me take your hand. We've had those cases.
They're just trying to help.
They're not trying to help. It's all crap. There's got to be a better way. Do you remember? I think it was when mission accomplished in Iraq. Remember a mission accomplished? It wasn't really mission accomplished. Remember that?
And the package.
Yeah.
Oh, Bush's package. We all remember that.
Mission accomplished when they actually set up elections, democratic elections in Iraq. They didn't have any system in place to truly identify everybody. Guess what? When you go to foreign countries, they don't have the same system of IDs. Not everybody gets a birth certificate in that.
Nope.
Says here you were born in a sand dune like everybody else.
And your mother is still bitching about it.
Right. You've got that sand gets everywhere.
Who knew?
So they didn't have the system in place to allow people to vote with IDs and whatnot. So what they did is they had everybody dunk that voted. When you got done voting, you had to dunk your finger in some sort of dye, like red dye.
Okay.
That way we knew if you voted.
That's true.
Can we do that?
Yeah. We could have them, we could have them in dye. We could have them dip their finger in cider, that sort of stuff, like apple cider. Anything like that.
Like something that would stain, though.
Oh, well, you know.
So you'd be able to identify it.
You dip your finger in cider, it can stain.
Okay. Not really what I was looking for, but okay.
But I mean, it would work in a pinch.
Hey, what about people without fingers? Oh, crud.
You know what? Here, don't let them vote. You don't have you don't have the index finger on your right hand. You can't vote.
I would say maybe some sort of other. Isn't that the mark of the beast? It's on your, it's your hand or your head, is what they say. How about elbows then? Fine. Dunk your elbow, and then it's fine. I don't care. We can do that. And then think about the court of public opinion looking down on you if you don't have that mark because you didn't vote today.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that encourage voter turnout?
Yeah. See, this will as long as human beings are involved in this process, it's going to suck. There's no getting around it at all. Period. End of story.
All right. Well, that makes me feel better.
Let's start drinking.
Hey, Stacy, here's the update on some of the races that still we haven't found out yet. Stacey Abrams has filed a federal lawsuit asking a judge to delay certification in Georgia's gubernatorial race.
Yep. I would expect no less from her.
Tomorrow's will be a week.
Yeah. These things take time.
And we still don't know who is the governor of Florida to be. Well, or the new senator, or the senator. Say new, it could be Bill Nelson, the old senator. The senator, we won that. We also don't know who won the Agricultural Commission race in Florida.
That one's a nail biter.
That one's a nail.
I'm telling you,
following this very closely. What's his name versus what's his name?
Bob Schigglefitz.
Which is incredible. That's going to be big. I'll tell you as soon as we figure that one out. And over in Arizona, the Senate race there, Sin Enema is increased her.
It's Cinema. Her name is
like movies.
Yeah, like cinema. Yeah, movies. Yeah.
Anyways, that lady has increased her lead over McSally by about 32,000 votes, but the count continues. It's not over. She currently leads 49.58% to 48.07%.
You expect these things to be over in a reasonable amount of time, and I'm not sure why you expect that.
Because it would be it's just counting.
Yeah. Well, there are attorneys involved now, and as soon as they see things start to go south, you know they plan the lawsuits.
You know, for both sides who complain, both left and right, Democrat and Republicans, and their followers who bitch about this, because in Arizona, the Democrats are like, stop the count. Come on. That lady that's named after a function, a procedure that you get where they clean out your rectum.
Cinema. No, it's cinema.
Like the movies.
Yeah.
That lady, she won. She's ahead. Just stop the count. Yeah. She's ahead. What are you counting for? You're just trying to overturn it. Meanwhile, in Florida, they're like, you got to keep counting. Everybody's vote counts. In Arizona, not everybody's vote counts.
No.
And on the flip side of that, Republicans and their followers are like, how dare they want to stop the count in Arizona? Every vote counts. McSally should have a shot at this. Count those votes. And in Florida, they're like, why are you counting? You're just trying to overturn this thing.
Yep.
See, it almost seems like you're being disingenuous about the thing. Like, you're just in it for your party. I get it. All of us want our candidate to win, and it's not even for most of us as superficial as saying, I really want my baseball team to win the World Series. It's life and death to you. It matters most. It is one of your core values, not just the process, but who gets elected and what ideas and values they will support or not. I get that. But you've got to be consistent with this stuff. Either the votes should continue across the board, and I know there are slight differences race to race. Some are based on, hey, they didn't get to the 50% margins, there's got to be a runoff and all. I get all that. But at the core of this is everybody wanting their candidate to win and doing whatever they can to pull out a victory.
I think Pink Floyd has said it best. The absentee ballots from Mexico continue to stream into Arizona.
Okay, it's not just Arizona, it is also Palm Beach County. During a review of the provisional ballots to determine whether a recount is justified in Florida's governor, Senate, and hotly contested agricultural commission race.
Oh, big time.
The Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections, Susan Butcher, identified, because they're going through it. Here's one. Is the Chad hanging? Let's hold it up there. Susan Butcher identified a ballot as a non-citizen.
How did she?
I don't know, but she was like, hey, this one's a non-citizen right here. And she said, it's not going to, this one is a non-citizen. Therefore, citizens can't vote. We will not count that. I will lay this into the do not count file.
I wonder who the vote was for.
Well, guess what happened at that point?
What?
So you got people in there for Nelson and for Scott. Both their attorneys are there. And then you've got an attorney there for Gillum and for DeSantis. Their attorneys there, Democrat attorneys and Republican attorneys, and even the attorneys for both sides in the Agricultural Commission, attorneys for that guy and that other guy.
Yeah.
They're all there. And she went, okay, this one's a non-citizen. I'm going to put it over here. It doesn't count. Guess what happened?
Oh, they jumped on that.
Objection. Objection. And guess who objected?
Both sides, most likely.
No, actually, just the attorneys for Nelson and Andrew Gillum.
Really? Huh.
The two Democrat candidates
That is
objected.
so shocking. That is shocking.
So that's one of a couple things. Either they believe that was for them, and I don't know who it was for. Maybe they knew. Maybe if they knew it was for, Scott or DeSantis, they would have, the Republicans would, I don't know. But she said, it's a non-citizen, and they both said, no, sorry, we object to it. See, the other thing is if they didn't outright know it was for them, they assumed it was going to be, or they support non-citizens voting. The clerk said, denial, not a citizen. The judge said, first of these we've seen. Miss Butcher, not a citizen, not counted. Objection. The attorney for Nelson said, objection, Nelson. And Mr. Gonzalez, for Gillum, said, objection, Gillum. And the judge said, noted.
Did no one say, how do you know that it's a non-citizen?
I mean, I'm sure they had it. I don't think that was in question. I don't know how.
All other things being equal, I'd agree with you. However,
no, that's true, too.
There are crazier things happening now.
That's a good point.
And this could have been one of those they just let, well, she's the expert. Hashtag believe women. If she says it, how dare you question her and her integrity as a whatever she is.
She is and whatever she does. Yeah,
exactly.
That's pretty wild, though. It's either that they thought they were going to have a vote there, or they thought or think that citizens should vote, or non-citizens should vote, or both.
And why is Florida always involved in this stuff? It's kind of the first time you hear Arizona in this sort of a controversy.
Well, I mean, we've seen other locales. It's just Florida because of Bush v. Gore.
Right.
But
it always seems to happen.
It's Florida man. That's what I think is at the center of this. Florida man, and you'd have to ask yourself then why so many wild stories out of Florida in particular. How many times is Florida represented in the Friday leftovers?
Right. Yeah. It's the sun. It's the sun. It gets into people's brains and rots it. Oh, by the way, Oklahoma Tomcat tweeted, you don't need early voting for military. The military and truck drivers can vote via absentee. So there's already a system in place. Yeah, well, I mean, whether it's early voting or absentee, I want to limit that to just military. So if it's absentee ballot just because your company sent you out of town for a week or you're on vacation, that's what really pisses me off. You vote for absentee because you're on vacation. And I know different locales will have different reasons or qualifications for being able to vote absentee. Some of them are very loose. And even if it's not, all you have to do is say, no, I'm going out of town for business. Yeah. They never challenge.
I have to go get my cat spayed.
Right. They never go, I'm calling Acme Investment Incorporated. I'm calling on behalf of Phil Ronisberg. Yeah. He says he's out of town official business next month. Okay. Is that right?
Yeah, he's not going to be here. He has to go.
Is it for work related? Is it work related though?
Yes.
And
yeah.
What is he going to be doing where it's work related?
It's a hangnail on his foot.
That's that work related.
Well, he can't walk. He does a lot of walking at work.
That's not a hangnail. That's gout.
Oh, well, he has gout in the hangnail. It's kind of a combination problem. He just, if he doesn't get this fixed, he's not going to be able to work. Okay. He's going to be on welfare. Is that what you want?
They never check this stuff.
No, of course they don't.
So how about cracking down on that?
Yeah, that's not going to happen either.
Very, very frustrating. If you are tired of nonsense like this, I have got an easy solution. Aside from my aforementioned ideas on how we eliminate early voting, certainly limit provisional voting. There's got to be a way.
And it's so your methods are so simple, and I don't know why no one listens.
At some point, you're just going to have to tighten it up and say some people aren't going to have as many opportunities. Sorry, make a decision here. Some people, yeah. And I would say the only one we really should concern ourselves or primarily concern ourselves with is military. That's it. Yes. Because they're serving their country. They're doing something else. Yep. But if you're frustrated by that and all this crazy voting, aside from my ideas, there's another way that you can help all of this, and that is sign up for a Patriot Mobile account today. Patriot Mobile is fighting nonsense like this because they share your values and ideas. They send a little bit of the money that you give them in profit each and every month to supporting candidates that you support and ideas and organizations that fight against nonsense like this. These are good, solid people that understand that there are forces working against us each and every day. And if we send our money to Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, any of these other cell providers, you're giving money to people who give that to work against you. and a lot of times you don't have an option. You know, some companies like social media, there have been fewer options. The big ones were all, you know, the crazy people on the left, or other companies, you don't have an option. And I get that. You got to do what you got to do. But where there is such a clear-cut option as Patriot Mobile, you got to take those opportunities.
Here's the alternative. You can take days off work and you can go and protest. You can join the conservative and the Republican protests out there. You know, people marching in the streets.
There's not as many of those.
Yeah, because everyone has a damn job and we're working.
Right.
You don't have to. You got to find ways that you can make a difference in a smart way by expending the least amount of effort and getting the biggest bang for your buck. And that's what something like this does, because you're going to use a cell service. Why not use one that benefits?
You know, there's a lot of people on the right that will donate money to organizations and causes. I mean, people have donated to us. And by the way, thank you very much for that. Donate. You just give your money because you believe in the cause, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here's an opportunity for you to not actually have to give your money.
Right. Well, you're
buying a service.
Buying a service that you were going to buy anyway.
You're going to buy, and it's competitive. It's not like you're even taking well, it won't be as good, but I know the money's, that would be worth it right there.
It's $100 more a month, but you know, I feel like I'm doing something good.
If it was like a 10%, 20% difference, again, you're probably going to give your money to some, you know, right-wing candidates or causes anyway. So you go, okay. Or if the coverage in that was pretty close, but not as good, okay, it's still worth it. This is talk about competitive pricing. In many cases, you're saving money. The coverage, second to none. It's perfect across the board. It's going to be the same or better than you get from others. And I say better because it just varies on locale.
And that's the truth with any service.
Absolutely. And customer service, fantastic. They really appreciate your business. So thank you so much for signing up for a Patriot Mobile account. If you haven't done so, please go to patriotmobile.com/doc or 800-A-PATRIOT.
I don't know what they're talking about over on Twitter. 1024th Hanging Taint Sleeve. If you hear your morning radio hosts discussing tightening it up after dipping fingers in like apple cider,
I don't know.
I think they've been drinking again.
Again, that would indicate that they stopped.
Right, that's a good point. Let's see, over on the MeWe, that was a softball I pitched, hoping someone would knock it out of the park. That's the only thing I can read. So wait a minute. See, hold on. Chris says so. Truck drivers shouldn't get to vote. Does Doc not understand what would happen if every truck driver was at home to vote one day? Do you understand what would happen if every truck driver was at home to vote one day?
How about online voting?
Well, you know, if you do that, you got all kinds of ways.
Sorry, truck drivers. I hadn't thought about that. Yes, you're quite often not home. All right, let me think about this.
They're out driving it.
That would be truly work-related.
Uh-huh.
How about this? How about, honestly, maybe online voting is the answer. And I know that freaks people out. Do you know how your online votes, how, you know, they can be targeted and hackers and whatever? Guys, is our current system working?
Well, you know.
So what are we afraid of trying online voting if these are already failures?
Hanging chads.
How would that have?
Dimpled chads. I'm just saying it doesn't matter what system you
right.
have,
That's
whether
that's
it's online or paper, or if you paint a rock and make that your ballot. It's
18 years ago this month, we didn't know who the president was going to be because an old man with reading glasses was holding ballots up to the light to see if there was a slight indent on one candidate over the other, because some people didn't have the strength to push a little paper hole that was already, what do you call it, cut out or?
Yeah, the scored.
Scored.
Yeah, the score. Yeah, it was already scored, and they. That was just the silliest.
I'm saying online voting.
It does leave itself wide open to tampering, but I guess no more than the physical.
There's got to be a better way than this nonsense.
And you know what? If they blockchain, something to do with blockchain technology, because the whole basis of blockchain is the fact that it's so tamper proof, because it's you have to change on like a million different servers. Maybe that is the ultimate solution. Yeah, that is, we take that technology, use it in voting. But neither side's going to want to do that because both sides at that level of government, they want to keep open the possibility that they could manipulate.
That's exactly it.
I don't trust anybody.
Well, and so look at it this way. We give quite often our banking information to people online, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not everybody does. I'm sure there's listeners right now. That's why I don't do it, Doc. Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people do.
Generally, the people who don't want to give their information online are over 50.
Yes, I would say probably over 60 even. Mm-hmm. But your medical records are online. All this stuff's online.
Yeah.
It's all available.
It's all
in order to change an election, there would have to be a massive hacking. See what I'm saying? You would have to really...
You mean there would have to be the desire and the money?
No, there'd have to be the ability to hack that many.
Oh,
and there would be some sort of record of it.
There's always a way. Any technology, it's like the security on DVDs. That was figured out how to overcome that by a 15-year-old with a Sharpie.
Wait, what? You can get
yes,
on
you can
those?
get yes.
Oh, you're gonna have to show me. I mean, just for
for friends,
educational, just for friends, something
There's
like that.
There's always a way to overcome the system.
By the way, there was a question at the Palm Beach Airport of a box of provisional ballots being discovered. Did you see those?
No.
Oh, details coming. You got to see this. Yeah, I'll give you the details coming up next on your Daily Mojo.
With great mojo comes great responsibility. Mojo 50.
I'm Mike Opelka from PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill. On this Veterans Day, we remember our vets and recall the words of Ronald Reagan honoring a lost soldier named Martin Treptow.
Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone.
Millions of men and women have served this nation bravely. Millions like Martin Treptow gave their lives for this country, and millions more continue to fight for us, for our freedoms every single day. Today is the official celebration of Veterans Day. Thank a veteran today. Honor their service and appreciate the freedoms they gave to all of us. Testudo, my friends. Testudo.
Mike Opelka's 2-minute drill is powered by MoJoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MoJoWildRice.com. Mojo Wild Rice.
Headline from the Associated Press. AP fact check. Trump's rhetoric on voter fraud is misleading.
Yeah.
Then it goes on in the first part of the article, say, facing closely contested election race in Florida and Arizona, President Trump is spreading misleading rhetoric regarding voter fraud. Despite what the president says, there is nothing unusual going on.
Nothing to see. Hey, keep moving.
So this is normal. Okay. Is this do you want this to be normal? Do you want this to be, yeah, this is fine. Sorry, I don't want it. This many of them, this many contested races.
It's the new normal. It's the normal that happens when one side or the other doesn't get
what they wanted. And it's close enough that they think they have a shot at flipping the thing over.
Yeah.
So what happened yesterday, this was late last night, Fort Lauderdale Airport was shut down. because of a suspicious package.
Which Democrat was it addressed to?
It was a package left outside one of the terminals. Reports kept coming in of a suspicious package that an Avis rental car employee discovered a suspicious package.
Maybe it was
labeled provisional ballot boxes, or the boxes labeled provisional ballots. It was left in the back of a rental car that had just been returned by a Broward County employee. It turns out that the suspicious package was actually a provisional ballot box.
Because it happens all the time where, a polling place worker puts the ballot box in their car that they've rented and drives it to the airport and drops it off.
Okay, there's so many things wrong with this.
Yeah.
Number one, apparently, if you do want to leave a suspicious package that could have nefarious intentions, you could just label it provisional ballot box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The fact that good for the employee to see this and think it was something suspicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. If you see something, say something.
Well, and because who would think that people would be so cavalier about a box of ballots? From the very people who are telling us how serious this is, our elections must be taken seriously. We need a chain of custody of the ballots. And this is another one. This was last night, folks. This is Sunday night, almost a week after the election, that you're just now getting provisional ballot boxes in still. And those provisional ballot boxes are just what? It was a rental car left at the airport.
So was it like in the custody of the, like if it was a Thrifty rental car, did Thrifty have the car?
Yeah, so Avis Rental Car, an employee at Avis Rental Car, discovered the ballot in the back of a rental car that had just been returned by a Broward County employee. So, in other words, a Broward County employee had rented a car.
Okay.
We don't know for what purpose. For official duty.
Okay.
Because their car broke down. They don't have one.
All right.
You're there. Why wouldn't you have a car?
Well, here's the question. You've rented cars before. You've turned them in. When you pull up to the rental car, they make you pop the trunk. They walk around and say, "Hey, is this your box?
Right.
Your bag?" So
let's assume that's what the employee did.
Okay, yeah, and then the employee or the
what was sprinting from the airport.
Yes.
It's not mine.
Hey, wait a minute! You forgot your ballot.
No, it's nothing.
Wait, that's.
You see what I'm saying? Either the employees at Avis took a long time to actually, go in the trunk and whatever else.
No, they don't.
Doesn't seem likely.
No, they don't. It's
or that person got the hell out of there. Why did you rent a car? There could be reasonable explanations why you rented a car.
Okay, what are they?
Maybe their car broke down or something.
Okay. So they have this box of provisional ballots. Did they say that they'd been filled out? So these were.
Well, yeah, they're filled out. Yeah.
So the rental car company has your name on the rental car receipt. It makes no sense. This is traced right back to a particular person.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, though, why did you have a box of provisional ballots in a rental car? Why would you need to rent a car? Remember, this is a Broward County employee. You're there. This isn't an employee from the Board of Elections in Chicago that flew down to lend a helping hand and decided to drive them over. And again, why was this employee driving around without some sort of security?
You're presuming that the Avis employee is telling the truth.
What do you mean?
You're assuming that he's telling the truth about the box being left in there. He could have planted the box.
I guess so. The employee hasn't objected to it.
Okay.
The Broward County Sheriff was called in, and yeah, they took custody of the package. We're still waiting on more details, but it could be that. But we would have already heard, from the employee going, "What are you talking about? I don't even work for Broward County," or "I never had a ballot box," or whatever. You would have heard something like that. That's not it. They know who the person is. Person left it in there.
Right. But that just makes no sense. So you can pull up, drop off your rental car, and have a box in there, which could be a bomb, and that's why they make you pop the trunk. It doesn't. It's all this makes no
So
sense.
if it's legit that it is a box of provisional ballots and this was a Broward County employee, why were you dropping the car at the airport? Why would this should be your number one duty right now?
Yeah.
I mean, this is overtime at the Super Bowl. If you're a Broward County employee that has anything to do with elections, right?
Right.
Election day is the Super Bowl.
Yes.
This is now like overtime or extra innings in the World Series. This is it. This is your focus. And while you're, it's extra innings or overtime in the Super Bowl, you're there going, I'm going to go up and get a hot dog.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Don't worry. Yeah, we need you to play. Yeah, I'll be back. Just, let's start without me.
What if for some reason they wanted somebody else to discover this box of provisional ballot? Is there any?
Well, okay, so that was my first scenario was, okay, it's legit. Why does it play out this where at very least this employee needs to be fired?
Unless they had a valid reason for having these in the car, unless they were...
And forgetting them?
Maybe they were spoiled. Maybe they were going sour.
How about this? Maybe there's a valid reason this played out that they had a rental car, whatever, fine. You still forgot them. And if you forgot them, how many of you would be willing to have an employee who forgot your bank drop somewhere? Take this money and these receipts, drop them in the night deposit at the bank or whatever. Oh, I forgot it in the rental car. You going to be okay with that employee?
What if the Broward County official had some plan worked out where somebody at the car rental agency was going to take and dispose of those ballots for him?
Okay, so that's the first thing. So if it's legit, those are all the scenarios if it was legit, first of all. If it's not legit, what the hell is going on? Is the Broward County employee actually an employee? Did they actually have custody of this? What's going on? Why did they have the rental car? Was the rental car employee? What is going on here? It's not as simple. The story is not... They thought it was a suspicious package and a bomb. Turned out it's just ballots. Okay, everyone go back about their business. No, this is just as big or maybe bigger that it is actually ballots.
It's more explosive.
Is Al Franken, was he spotted in the area? Is he a Broward County employee? Oh, we found a box of ballots in the trunk at the airport.
He does have some time on his hands right now, so maybe he can... but if there was a plan to get rid of those, that maybe the wrong employee checked in the car.
Were these being delivered via airplane from overseas or something? If that's the case, maybe, I guess with a stretch, the reason you'd have the car.
Okay.
They loaded them up in the car, and you
get confused, and you're at the airport, and you think, oh, wait, was I returning the rental car or picking it up?
Returning.
I must have been returning. Here you go. Bye.
Was there 17 boxes and you forgot one in there?
Maybe.
Okay, I could see that, that kind of makes sense, but still, you've got to make sure that you don't forget them.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Well, I was dropping, boss, I was dropping all the money off at the bank last night. And, there were like 6 bags of cash and receipts and stuff like that. The good news is, I deposited most of them, almost all of them.
Good job, Smithers.
Yeah, one of the bags, I don't know. I think I left it in the rental car.
I saw something blowing out on the interstate.
I mean, I got most of them, though.
Give me some credit.
No one would say that. So that's what's happening right now. More details will be coming forthwith.
The blockchain technology may be the thing. I wonder how much the government could spend creating a secure app for. First of all, the government could spend creating a secure app for cell phones that would allow you to vote online. Incorporating blockchain could be interesting. That, according to the Morning Blade. Damn it. There's ways.
Possibility.
Here's the thing. There are ways to make it secure. Neither side is interested in putting one of those into motion because both sides want to have a back door to this whole thing.
They do. They absolutely want the ability to try to challenge this stuff. Yeah, if it's even close. That's what they want. That's what's going on here. So, and by the way, like I said, if you're Republican or Democrat, be consistent with this stuff. Object to all of them, object to none of them, object to them based on the circumstances. But don't just play the left versus right game. They should stop counting in Arizona, but keep counting in Florida, or vice versa.
Maybe from now on, it's not the October surprise; it's the November backdoor surprise.
Well, that would be a surprise.
That's a
wouldn't it?
shocker.
This stuff is so stressful, though. On top of everything else you got to worry about in your life, it is just so unnecessarily stressful. We're already divided enough, and all this does is divide more, gives you questions of impropriety, even if there is none. Even if this is legit. Hey, this doc, we've determined, truly, definitively, that this is the best system. Okay, great. Well, we need to find a better way to market it then, because this stuff looks really shady.
Yes, it does.
It does not add. Or we got to solve stuff on the other end so we can trust people a little bit more. Take care of stuff with the divide leading up to the election.
Did you just say trust and people in the same sentence?
I know. It's got to be a better system. The stress is horrible for all of us. You're like, hooray, finally, it's election day. We'll just find out on election night who won, and we can move on just for a couple of months, Brad, because we're already in campaign season for 2020.
Yes.
Literally the day after, but it's not really busy yet. So here it is. It's after the election. I'll get a couple of months of the holidays. After first of the year, kind of regroup, get things together, and then we can start focusing on the next election. But I'll get a couple of months off. No, you're not. The stress for most of us is ridiculous. And how many people need that extra stress on their heart?
Not many.
I don't.
Not many.
I got enough stress to worry about. If you have enough stress on your heart to worry about maybe some problems with your heart disease, or you just want to prevent heart disease, you can just forget all about politics. That's one way.
Yes.
Never vote, not watch the news. That would be a slight help. Or you could try the Pauling Therapy and Essentials formula, PTEF, at SaveYourHeart.com. You can try that. It's going to be a lot easier. Then you could still stay engaged to do your civic duty, your civic responsibility to vote.
What would you say if I told you that heart-related disease and heart attacks spike during the Christmas and the New Year's holiday?
Is that just because of all the recounts?
It's well, think about that. You've got, and this year, I'll bet you the spike will be even higher because not only did you have the election, the most important election of our lifetime, but you've got the Christmas stress 42 days away. You've got New Year. It's 2019. You're getting older. You've got all of these things compounding.
And all the emotions of.
And family and Uncle Bud. Remember, Uncle Bud's coming over this year, too. Woohoo! Remember last year when he forgot his pants and.
Right, you got all the relatives. Some of them you have some real problems with, wrongly or rightly.
Right.
Then you have it's Thanksgiving, and it always reminds me about Mom burning me with the gravy, right, or whatever crazy story from your childhood, legit or not. Then you've got guilt and pressures, and everything's got to be perfect and all that. I guess that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's enough to make you say the heart attack spike during that period.
Yep. They sure do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, do something about it. Take care of yourself as best you can. Go to SaveYourHeart.com. Now, you can also call 877-HEART, 877-HEART, and try that Pauling's Essential Formula to deal with the heart disease. Now, a lot of people think they're getting the proper nutrition because you eat a healthy diet that's full of those things they always tell you. But each and every moment that you have picked a vegetable or fruit, it loses some nutritional value. And then you have to make sure you're getting the right combinations of things for your heart. Sometimes you're like, I take a diet rich in this vitamin. Great. You realize some vitamins really don't work proper unless they're combined with other vitamins, like vitamin D and calcium, for example, right?
That's the big one. I remember taking calcium supplements, and until I found out, unless you're taking vitamin D, you might as well be just eating.
You're just
sand.
pissing them out.
Yes.
Just goes right through you.
Yeah.
Honestly, you really do. You're just wasting your money. So get the right combination to deal with heart disease if you've already been diagnosed, or to prevent heart disease. It's really simple. SaveYourHeart.com, or go to 800 or call 877-HEART.
This is where Karen Hoffman over on Facebook says Sheriff Israel of Parkland notoriety was called in, shut down the airport because of a quote-unquote bomb threat. What did he do with the box?
That's a great question. I didn't even think about that at Sheriff Israel. You're absolutely right. He would be, if he, wow. That's,
the plot thickens.
Wow.
Yeah. There's something, I mean,
I hadn't thought about that.
If it's a story that has to do with politics, you can bet there's something nefarious going on. There's just too much money and power involved in a system like this that people are willing to do anything up to and including killing somebody else.
I would say, and Sheriff Israel, I am not a fan. I have a lot of questions about this cat.
He says good things about you. I'm surprised.
Well, that's good that we're both being honest. That's what that's.
Yeah. At least you're consistent.
The best I can say is I have some problems with him. Questions about his abilities. That's the best I can say. That's not the worst I can say. The worst I can say is he's a dirtbag. Needs to be run out of office and run out of town on a rail.
Well, there's that.
But I have to take a moment and defend him.
See, these are those days you hate this job.
You know who Andrew Pollock is?
Why is that?
He's
name
one of
sound
the
familiar?
fathers of the Parkland victims.
Okay.
His daughter was shot, was murdered at Parkland, the high school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And I have interviewed him multiple times. You've probably seen him all over social media. He's one of the few parents whose children have been murdered in one of these horrific mass crimes who is not automatically gone, it's the NRA. He's a pretty reasonable man. And he hasn't gone completely right-wing with guns. He is led with, let's secure the schools first. Let's stop talking about guns and let's say secure the schools, and then we could talk about other these. Now, I speculate he's probably generally more right-wing to begin with, but I have supported him. I understand as much as anybody what he's gone through, or as much as I can, and I feel horrible for him, and I stand with him on most things. But I think he got one wrong over the weekend about Scott Israel. He tweeted, I'm sick to my stomach. 18-1958 murdered 17 students and staff. That 18-1958 is the inmate number of the kid who murdered. He's
okay.
Just so you understand,
Right.
that's how he refers to him. He won't use his name. So let me back up.
Right.
I'm sick to my stomach. 18-1958 murdered 17 students and staff, including my daughter, Meadow. Yet in July, Broward Sheriff Scott Israel let people into the jail to get him and other animals registered to vote. The despicable Democrats have no shame. Can't let them steal this election. What did he get wrong there?
Well, he is innocent until proven guilty.
There it is. And until he's convicted,
Right, he's not a felon.
he is allowed to vote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let me back up and say, I don't know the rest of the circumstances around Scott Israel allowing them in to vote. If he was out there on the street going, hey, can somebody come in here? Let's get these guys registered to vote. Let's get them to vote. We got to get them to vote. Get them to vote. Then he was being a little overzealous because of his Democrat values and trying to get Democrats. If, however, and by the way, even that would be difficult to say he did too much because it is his responsibility to make sure their rights are protected, even those ones, as long as they're not convicted.
Right.
So if somebody came to us and said, hey, you know, we want to go in and register these guys, or the guy said, hey, we want to register to vote, he has to let them. Now, there are some parameters. He has to make sure that people go through security in certain times and all this.
Right.
But as long as they meet those regulations, he's got to let them in.
How many people could be in there? I guess literally thousands.
I don't know how many in. Probably could be thousands.
Well, could be, but again, these would have to be people who are not
Convicted felons. Right.
So, yeah.
So Mr. Pollock, I've interviewed you and I feel horrible and I support most of what you've said and done. This is one, I don't know how aggressive Scott Israel was at getting these guys registered. It still wouldn't be illegal, you know what I mean, for him to say, hey, we got to get these guys registered to vote. And in some cases, most of us would say, wow, that's a guy who really values the responsibility and privilege of voting, the right to vote. We'd go, oh, okay, that's good. And I question how many people would object because people got Mr. Pollock's back and trashed the sheriff. If it were a different party, a different circumstance, we'd be saying, good, they got those people the right to vote. Good, we'd all be saying that. We're tied up in the emotion of the rest of this. and not thinking it through.
Well, and especially in his position, but and the Parkland shooter, scumbag. I mean, yes, innocent until proven guilty. Did we know he did it?
Well, and it's funny because I kept hearing people or kept seeing people on social media throw around words like, but he's incarcerated. That makes him a felon. No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
He was indicted, so he's a felon that cannot. No,
nope.
None of that. Until you are convicted of a felony, you are not a felon. Sorry, that's just how it is.
That's the law.
And look at it this way. Imagine you, law-abiding citizen. You get arrested wrongly, and you are sitting in jail at the time of the election. Shouldn't you have the right to vote until you are convicted? And as much as we know this scumbag did this, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And he is going to be convicted. He has not been convicted yet.
Nope.
And you must stick by the rule of law and the structure we have in place. Now, if you want to change any of those things, that's fine. But as long as it's there, we are the people that are consistent. And if we're not, the whole thing goes away.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, Stephen Airy over on with the Defenders of the American.
Airy? What the hell did you expect, Feathers?
DOAE program.
You know that one?
No, I don't, but I'm sure you'll explain it.
It's Americans walking in the street in London. It's one of my dad's jokes. Not my dad jokes. My dad's jokes. Yes, but I guess it is dad joke now. Walking in the streets of London, and wind blows up a woman's skirt, and she's not wearing any undergarments. And he tries to make her feel a little more. He's like, "Wow, it's a bit airy, isn't it?" And she says, "Airy? What the hell did you expect, Feathers?" Because see, it's the accent. It's an American.
It's a carpet
British
joke, is what it is. It's a carpet joke. I got you. Maybe perhaps we move on. Anyway, Stephen sent me a link to a Washington Post story that I can't read because I've reached my limit this month. So I'm sure it's a really good story about West Virginia and their pilot mobile blockchain voting app oversees voters' November election, which is all what it says in the URL. So if you're able to read that story, you might want to check it out over at the Washington Post.
So they're
.com.
What do you mean to tell me West Virginia is going to lead the nation in blockchain voting?
Right? You know,
wow, California, you are doing it wrong.
This is a great country when West Virginia can be the
right. When you think, and God bless you, West Virginia, I love you, I get you, but when you think, okay, states that lead the country in tech, ready, go. West Virginia. West Virginia? Sorry. You didn't form it in the question. What is West Virginia? Sorry, no.
What is North Dakota?
Sorry, no. Go ahead. Mississippi? Wrong.
Yeah, not so much. Becky says, I'm tired of the shady. Start finding these people and investigate. If found guilty, throw their asses in jail. I'm sick of this. Yeah, that's so sweet that you think that.
I saw a little meme going around, and wow, I so wanted to go off on this knock. I think I did a little bit on Twitter. And then I was like, I really like to just talk to some of these people. They think they're so smart. And I paraphrased Ronald Reagan in it and said, they just know so much that isn't true. And here's what I tweeted, and I'll tell you what the meme was in a second. Poor thing. He is so proud of himself, but to paraphrase Reagan, he just knows so much that isn't true. I'll explain the simple and yet colossal fail of his comments tomorrow morning on your Daily Mojo. Here's the meme. It shows a picture of the country, a little map. Some of the states are shaded one color. Some of the states are shaded another color.
Right.
The states that are shaded gold, and it's 46 states, I think. 46? No, because some of them are double. Anyways, a lot of states.
Mm-hmm.
And it says 40 million people, 46 senators, meaning there's that many states
right,
representing 40 million people, and they have 46 senators.
Right.
And then one state, California, 40 million people, 2 senators. I guess it would be 46, 13 states.
Right.
Or 23 states.
All right.
So 23 states has 40 million people.
Mm-hmm.
One state has 40 million people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a failure, he says. And he put, maybe a bunch of white slave owners from the 1700s did not come up with the best government ever.
I'll bet he has a solution.
Oh, well, right. He wants to, redo the whole thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. Missing a couple of major things. First of all, white slave owners, guys, even if you think our current structure is wrong, stop it. Automatically, you have turned off a bunch of people. If you're trying to have a reasonable dialogue here and think you have a better way and you want to change how senators are elected and congressmen or whatever, this is not how you do it. But what he's missing is something called the 17th Amendment. Such a failure. He is right that under our current system, that's pretty stupid. You have 40 million people representing, and 46 senators representing them, and 40 million people represented by just 2 in California. Those senators were never supposed to represent the people.
No, they're for the state, right?
They are for the states. Our debate should not be left versus right or Republican versus Democrat. Our debate every election should be the people and the states when it comes to federal elections. Because the balance should be what the people want. The reason it's called the People's House is because they represent the people. The states were represented in the federal government system by senators. So Chuck Schumer and Chuck Grassley alike should be sitting there going, is it good for my state? Not my state of people, my state. You want a federally mandated highway speed limit of 55. Sorry. That should be up to the states. We together are voting against that. Mm-hmm. Hey, my state needs money for highways that pass through them or not. And we stand together. And then the people should be battling going, well, you know what? It's good for the people, but bad for the states or vice versa. That should be the battle. The 17th Amendment mandated direct election of senators by the people, not the states. Why would we have 2 houses that both represent the people?
Because the politicians like it that way.
Exactly.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. From the north to the south, California is burning. Deadly wildfires ravaging large swaths of the state. The biggest fires, the Camp and Woolsey fires, have killed at least 31 people, while more than 200 are missing. The property damage and destruction is staggering. The entire town of Paradise has been incinerated. The flames are no respecter of persons. Celebrities joining thousands of the less famous forced to flee the flames, and a landmark film location has been consumed.
It's called Western Town, a Paramount Movies location that dates back to 1927, but it is no more. Burned to the ground like many other properties in the raging California flames, the set, located at a ranch in the mountains west of Los Angeles, included a jail, a hotel, and a saloon. The TV series Westworld was among the many productions that have filmed there.
That's correspondent Oscar Wells Gabriel. President Trump's new proclamation restricting asylum claims by certain illegal immigrants already facing a legal challenge.
Not long after the president issued new regulations on asylum seekers, the ACLU and other legal groups sued in federal court, arguing the measures were illegal. But the president maintains it's all about law and order.
We want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally.
Mr. Trump invoked the same powers he used last year to impose a travel ban that was upheld by the Supreme Court. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Mishaps, protests, litigation overshadowing the ongoing vote recount in Florida's pivotal races for governor and Senate. All 67 counties facing a state-ordered deadline of Thursday to wrap up their recounts. Democrat Kyrsten Sinema continues to gain ground in Arizona's gradual Senate vote recount. Sinema now leading Republican Martha McSally by more than 30,000 votes. Dow futures down 5 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase. Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. How should we respond if confronted with frustration and conflict? The proper response was given over 200 years ago in a lengthy speech when Benjamin Franklin told the delegates at the Constitutional Convention, "In this situation of this assembly, groping as it were in the dark to find political truth, how has it happened, sir, that we have not hitherto once thought of humbly applying to the Father of lights to illuminate our understanding? Have we now forgotten that powerful friend? Or do we imagine we no longer need his assistance? God governs in the affairs of men. I therefore move that henceforth prayers imploring the assistance of heaven and its blessings on our deliberations be held in this assembly every morning before we proceed to business." Benjamin Franklin knew that prayer was the proper response.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact Wall Builders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
The mothership has landed.
All right, we are just under 2 weeks away from our big Black Friday blowout. It's a 12-hour Building America marathon right here on MoJo 50. And what that means to you is free commercials. That's right. If you've got a business or you know somebody else that has a business, we're going to give you free commercials. It's one of the most difficult things when you start a business is to break through to let people know that you're there. If you build it, they will come, but they have to know about it. And that is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they start a business. I got this great idea. Great. I got the money to manufacture it. Put up the website, got the storefront, the brick and mortar. Everything's perfect. And then you sit there, crickets, because nobody knows that you're there. People forget this all the time. It's easier than ever to start a business and to sell online to people around the globe, to import, to export, to do all of this stuff. But there's also a bunch of other people, more people than ever, that are challenging you.
There are a couple of ways to get the word out. You can either spend some money and promote your business, or you can give a buttload of product away to a bunch of people and have them spread the word for you. So take your choice.
You can also ground it out if you have that kind of time to try to grow incrementally online. It's very, very difficult to do. Yes, we know that. We're in the media business. We can promote things, and we still have to grow our numbers beyond the people that currently know we're here. That's the reason we ask you, please share with your friends and family that we exist. Please tell them. Most businesses do not have that opportunity unless they've built up millions of followers on social media. And then even that social media controls you. It's very difficult. So our commitment to helping, one of our commitments to helping is to give you free commercials, to let people know you're there. And sometimes that little springboard is all it takes for your business to boom. We can cite countless examples of businesses that we have helped grow over the years at various companies we've worked for, and it works. So please join us on Black Friday. While most people are out shopping or just nursing a turkey hangover,
or a real hangover,
we'll be doing both, but live from our MoJo Freedom Dojo right here in Fort Worth, Texas. So you can call up that day. Just call up. We'll offer the phone number up and call up. Or you can pre-register at mojo50.com. That's the best way probably to do it.
Yeah, and if you're in town you can come by the studio, we'll even give you a guided tour of the hot spots along the MoJo River.
Yeah, we'll go. There's that over there. See it? Okay.
Hey, don't play that.
Guided is a little
Is it a guided tour? Is it?
All right, I guess it is.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And it's
Avoid that
beautiful
dead body.
this time of year.
Okay.
Well, that's good advice, is it not?
It is. It is. So join us on Black Friday, and I'm going to ask you right now, if you are even if you don't have a business, you stumble across us on Black Friday, you're just online, please share all of our videos too, because it's about building a synergy with all the people that are calling in and all the businesses and all the people listening, and it'll go big for all of us. And that's on Black Friday. A week from this coming Friday. One of the businesses we've helped over the years is called Relief Factor. I love the Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a new client here on MoJo 50, but they've been with Brad and I for many, many years now.
Brad and me.
Brad and me, excuse me. Brad and me, we've been many, many years. Love the Relief Factor. Explain the Relief Factor.
Relief Factor is the alternate, your alternate choice to Western medicine, let's say. It's botanicals, it's fish oil, it's omega-3s, and what it does, it's an anti-inflammatory. So if you got problems with inflammation, whether they are in your feet, your hands, wherever they are in your body, Relief Factor goes to work on them. And funny, as I was talking to somebody on Friday or Saturday about Relief Factor, and it was 4 years ago that they came on board at the over at the Blaze, and I started taking them there, and I've literally taken them every day. I've taken Relief Factor every day, with the exception of the times I had surgery, because you have to lay off a couple days before. Every day for 4 years.
It works. That's the bottom line.
It really does. So it's not something that I just did because they were, buying commercials. This is something that works and it makes you feel better.
Try them today. It's 800-500-8384. 800-500-8384 or relieffactor.com. I would say it's worth it if you have suffered with pain for years. This is something to try. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for most.
Here's the funny thing. The people who say, it didn't work for me. Did you follow the directions? Did you take it?
No, I took one.
You got to try it for a steady few weeks. And you get a 3-week quick start pack. I think it's just under $20, $19.95.
Same as downtown.
Yeah. It's worth it. I mean, you understand what I'm talking about. You get to a point, if you struggle with pain, where you're like, it consumes your life. Try it. For me, and I've tried it specifically when it has when my sciatica, damn it, just old. When the old acts up.
Yep.
When I run at times, it and I didn't realize what it was. You stretch, whatever. No. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Most people, they say, a week, 10 days,
it's 10 days. Yeah, if you take 10 days, 2 weeks, and you take a couple of packets a day, I think it's 2 or 3 packets a day for 7 to 10 days. That's when most people can tell. Is it going to work for me? Yes. Is it going to work for me? No, whatever.
For me, honestly, and this has happened several times, 4 to 5 days, boom, I notice the difference. It's like clockwork. So some people try and use Relief Factor every day moving forward, like Brad, who has a lot of the old. I have a little bit of the old.
Wait a minute. I don't have that.
A little bit of the old. So when I get flare-ups, then I use a Relief Factor for a month or so. I'm better. I'm good to go, usually for a couple of months. But try it today. 800-500-8384 or relieffactor.com.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
And the profundity that is your headlines this morning, brought to you by relieffactor.com. The recount is on. Oh, this is so much fun. You thought the circus was fun? The recount, it's even more.
Its own little circus.
And it actually is getting a little bit messier. Yesterday, Governor Rick Scott, his campaign, filed a handful of lawsuits seeking to give law enforcement custody of election equipment and prevent certain ballots from being included in official results. That's what they do now. They sit around, the lawyers, that is, and decide on how they can sue to get everything caught up in court forever and ever. So the recount began on Saturday. They said there's no way that's going to be done. I think it's supposed to be done by Thursday.
I just sit there thinking how much I hate attorneys. And as you're saying that, I'm like, I hate the attorneys. And I remembered a tweet over the weekend, a couple of them I saw from Avenatti.
Oh, yes.
The porn lawyer.
The attorney who keeps on giving.
Yeah. He was mocking Dana Rohrabaugh, the longtime Republican
Southern
congressman.
California.
Yeah, who's almost 30 years.
Yep.
And I hate when people are in that long. At least he's been a solid conservative, but you got to go after that long. And he was mocking him because there was a picture of Rohrabaugh eating an In-N-Out burger like the night of the election. It might have been after he lost or as it was winding down, looked like he was going to lose.
Yum.
And it was just kind of sitting over, womp, womp, dejected, num, num, eating quietly, right? And whatever.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's awesome.
Uh-huh.
But he's like, God, this is him starting his new job at In-N-Out Burger and all this.
Because he's not going to be able to like get a job, being a...
And I started thinking, I was like, would I rather be a porn lawyer or work at In-N-Out Burger? Which do you respect more?
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Aside from the potential, and a lot of attorneys do not make good money. Most do not.
No.
Aside from the potential or the idea that you would have a lot of money, throw money out the door. Who do you respect more?
Oh, I'm going to respect the In-N-Out employee.
Have you seen the In-N-Out employees?
Some of them are hot.
No, most of them. I've not had a bad In-N-Out employee experience. It's like Chick-fil-A. Probably the two best customer service from fast food.
We're still talking about the restaurant, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
No, I just
In-N-Out
start
Burger.
talking about In-N-Out employees.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're getting
No, they
into
are
here, but
they are friendly, efficient, nice. Okay.
Gotta love a little In-N-Out. Moving on, the most awfulest thing happened to the president. Here at MoJo 50, and I say this in all sincerity, we keep you abreast of all things that affect the state of our union, mainly because we'd feel like real boobs if we didn't.
I see what you did there.
We would do this even if we had to enlist the tiniest titmouse to secure our ravenous desire to quench our thirst for the truth at the bosom of humanity.
Okay.
That's 4 references to breasts.
I got it.
Got in there.
This kind of lost me.
Somewhere Bill Clinton is saying, hey.
Why? What happened?
What about me? The president was on his way to a ceremony at the Arc de Triomphe, marking the 100th anniversary of the armistice that ended World War II. A topless protester came within spitting distance of the president's motorcade.
See, I saw the story. What do you hope to accomplish? Is that'll
Okay.
show him?
First of all,
that'll show him.
Who cares? We got to see boobs.
No, I know that, but think about this. That'll show him. You know what I'm going to do? I hate Trump. I will show him my breasts.
Was she French? Did she have armpit hair?
She's in France. I assume she's French.
I didn't see any.
How does that injure him? The world will know how serious I am. Okay. By the way,
well, she did have a mess.
If you would like to protest MoJo 50 as much as we would hate it, we understand your First Amendment rights. And if you want to walk along the banks of the beautiful MoJo River, directly to my left, through that wall, out the window, and protest us topless, well, I reluctantly support that. It is your right.
We would fight it in silent solidarity within the building here.
In fact, you know what? Don't be outdone by the French.
Yeah.
Just topless. Please, you can do better than that.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to make a statement, let's see the full Monty.
I got to tell you, if I'm the president and I'm rolling down the streets of France, hey, look, we're on Charles de Gaulle Boulevard. What a puss. Hey, there's the Arc de Triomphe. Hey, kids, Big Ben, you're going around a little circle there. I know Big Ben's in England. I'm just doing the reference there. You're going in the circle there. And a woman, but bink, bink, right? They come out. I'm like, they love me in France.
Yes.
Are you thinking that they're protesting?
Yeah.
No, you're like, I am adored. They're willing to show me their naughty bits.
She looks rather perky.
Right.
Very perky. She did.
I am adored. I may run for president of France with this kind of support.
She did have the words "fake peacemaker" written across her bare chest and anti-war slogans scrawled on other parts of her body.
Okay. Fake peacemaker? I'm thinking she's referencing the girls.
Yeah.
I would be
that's
a little confused.
possible.
Was it in French or English?
Well, there's no word on that. This could have been just a faulty American English translation of the
That's
French
what I
word.
would think. I was like, oh, look at that. She doesn't understand the translation, but I get you, sweetheart.
The feminist activist group Femin is claiming responsibility for sending at least 2 topless protesters to the event. So apparently there was more than one woman running around sans top.
Oh, my gosh. I can just hear the audience screaming. I have missed something really important. Was she hot?
Oh,
were they hot?
See,
because then maybe they sent ugly women.
She
abnormally gravity affected women,
right, with pendulous
right
appendages.
And then if you're the president, you're like, they hate me in France. Look at those disgusting things.
The few frames that I forced myself to watch, and I mean, I did this simply because I knew that it was a news item that would have to be discussed on the program. So I did just a couple of. They were all right.
I see on the wall behind you, #what I learned today, Stinky, saying reset buttons. They were actually overcharged buttons, Stinky, just so you know.
Right, just so you know. Have we worn out all the references, the memory references?
I think so.
Okay, now let's move on.
I'm going to just start reading the wall behind you as opposed to going over here. It works so well.
I'd have to turn around to do that, and then you wouldn't be able to hear me, which some say would be an improvement. California wildfires have destroyed more than just real homes, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll get to the president had a quote here. The famed Paramount Ranch, which served as a set for many Hollywood television shows and films over a century, was destroyed.
Okay. I have so many comments on this.
Well,
and then I missed a comment on the last one. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, let me reset. Let me go back to France for just a second, because I want to cover one more thing. Did you see Emmanuel Macron?
No,
the president of France, his speech.
No,
because there was this big debate over whether or not Trump could show up in the rain and all this stuff, and it turns out
that's right. Yes.
The Secret Service pulled the plug. He still spoke. He still went. You're attacking the guy. I mean, yes. Had it been Obama, the right would have done the same thing too. We would have.
Yes.
You didn't show up. You don't respect it. Got it. Okay, fine. But Macron's speech, where he attacked Trump for being a nationalist, because a couple of weeks ago Trump, doubled down on being a nationalist there, and he said, World War I is an example, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically what happened when you're a nationalist. And World War II, that nationalism led to those wars. He said patriotism is the exact opposite of nationalism. Nationalism is a betrayal of patriotism. In saying our interests first, whatever happens to you, to others, you erase the most precious thing a nation can have, that which makes it live, that which causes it to be great. And what is most important, its moral values. And he talked about, countries supporting one another and allies in this. I don't like nationalism, but I like it more than globalism.
Yeah.
Nationalism does lead to, can lead to, has led to some fascist regimes. Yeah. And globalism leads to communism.
Yep. Take your choice.
What do you want?
Yeah.
I would rather put America first than the world first.
Yes.
Let's just try to stop all the other stuff. How about doing that? And do you think Macron and the other people out there that were trashing Trump's nationalism and saying we've got to stand together? Do they really want? Is that their concern? Us being their allies and their pals?
No, they want the money.
No, exactly. Stop it. You don't care about this crap.
No.
You don't care about America. You care about France. France cares about France first and foremost. They absolutely do. They are some of the most arrogant people on the planet.
Wow. Are you insinuating that the French are arrogant?
French are putting the globe first. In fact, they're the ones advocating, hey, let's all speak English. It's nonsense. You say this, he says this, other people say this because they're trying to trash Trump in order to build up France directly or indirectly. They want the money, they want the protection, they want all that America has, except allowing America to be America, and that's the problem. That's the reason nationalism pops up, when people don't support sovereign borders. Okay, I'm sorry. Now,
feel better?
On to the fires.
Actually, let's pause for just a moment and talk about the sponsor of this portion of headlines, which is Element Mattress. Right?
I love the Element Mattress.
Right.
Love the Element Mattress. Such a good. How did you sleep last night?
I I slept
How'd you-
okay with
yeah?
the exception of my neck.
So you
know why
didn't
they
sleep
call it-
okay?
I don't know why they
Do
call
you
it
have an
sleep.
Element mattress?
No.
How'd you sleep
Why
last night?
Why are you rubbing that in?
I'm just asking you. How'd you sleep last night?
I would have.
Did you have an Element mattress?
Would have slept better if I'd had an Element.
Yeah. Brad got to work 3 hours early, and when I finally saw him, he was like, "Yeah, right here, right here." Shoot, it was like somebody stabbing me right there, and I go, "You have an Element mat?" No, I don't have an Element mattress. Just go to elementmattress.com and get, quite simply, the best mattress out there. You want a good night's sleep? Element mattress is the key. Don't be thrown off by, wait, it's all memory foam. It's not all memory foam. There are some that are more memory foam. They have many different models.
You don't want the emery foam.
It's very rough on your skin.
Very rough. It does exfoliate you, but it's very rough.
And you can do your nails right there.
You get in bed
the
too
emery
fast
board
and-
foam is really not
you
the
get
best
abrasions
option.
in the worst
Mhm.
places, and
But
you don't want that.
memory foam is fantastic. Don't even be thrown off by their all memory foam mattress or primarily memory foam mattress, because it's not those memory foams that maybe you remember from years gone by. The technology has grown, and I can honestly tell you I was not a fan of memory foam years ago.
No, because they created.
I tried it. I didn't like it.
You slept and it created a pit.
It
and
didn't
then,
respond fast enough.
And you tried to roll out of the pit.
And it eventually conformed to you if you could balance yourself on the precipice of that pit until it,
It was like a sarcophagus.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Something the mattress.
Element mattress is fantastic. And the copper Element mattress is great because it's naturally antimicrobial and antifungal. It kills dust mites. You don't have to worry about any of those things.
If you have a dust mite collection at home,
do
not buy an Element mattress.
Just go to elementmattress.com, and the promo code you want is MoJo50. 50% off, just like that. No questions asked. They're made in America. They'll let you try it 100 nights for free. If you don't like it, return it for a full refund. And if you do keep it, they're going to give you a lifetime warranty.
And by the way, when you say return it, it doesn't mean you have to get up and go return it to them.
No.
They'll come pick it up.
Yes, exactly. You can just send it out to them.
Yep.
Elementmattress.com, promo code MoJo50. Just get it today.
All right, those California wildfires, as I was saying, more than just real homes. They have destroyed the Paramount Ranch. That's the Woolsey fire in California. The National Park Service operates the Paramount Ranch out there, where I guarantee you've seen this on television. Westworld was filmed there. Movie Herbie the Love Bug was filmed there.
Oh, all the greats.
All the greats. Westworld.
All the greats.
Yes.
You said that twice.
Yeah, that's because Westworld's really good.
I'm really frustrated by the fires and the reaction to the fires.
Yeah, well, and then President Trump said, and this, boy, was this triggering. There is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except that forest management is so poor. Billions of dollars are given each year with so many lives lost, all because of gross mismanagement of the forests. Remedy now or no more Fed payments.
How do you think that went over with the bleeding heart anti-Trumpists in Southern California?
Yeah, they weren't sending the president love letters after that one.
All right, here's the thing. Trump was a bit insensitive. Untimely in this, I would say.
So he was his usual self. That's what he usually is. So.
Although he makes a very valid point.
Yes.
It's just the wrong timing. A little insensitive.
Well, it's the wrong timing, except for the fact that there was a fire that brought the point to mind.
And that's the point I want to make. So Trump tweets something that people deem as insensitive, and the leftists, a lot of those live in the community, melted down. All the actors. Sarah Silverman, actually I think she's in New York, but put, "Stop it, feign humanity." So she would prefer that he feign it. I know her point. At least pretend. You want somebody to fake it? I'd rather people be honest than you know who they are. But she's an actress. And
she's an expert on policy.
She's an actress because she acts like a comedian. She pretends to be. Zach Braff from, Scrubs? Tweeted, "Honestly thought this one was from a parody account. The city is on fire and people and animals are dying." Katy Perry, "This is an absolute heartless response. There aren't even politics involved, just good American families losing their homes as you tweet evacuating into shelters." Another director tweeted, "I really try to ignore his tweets, but this goes over the line. We know he's cruel and heartless." Alyssa Milano mentioned the fires burning in family and lives upended. Bette Midler called him a pumpkin and attacked him how insensitive he is and all of this. And I say to you, isn't that what you do when there's a shooting? You immediately go to solutions, what you deem is a solution. And now you've even started saying, no, I don't want to hear prayers and well wishes. Prayers and thoughts, I don't want to hear it. Trashing people's faith.
Yeah.
Insensitive. Because you think you're doing good, you have a solution.
Yeah,
That's what Trump did here. He looked for a solution while the problem was going on. That's the reason I say time and place. Maybe you wait a day or so. Then you talk about those.
Yeah. That's what makes the president lovable. By the way, it is Monday, November 12th. There are 42 days until Christmas, if you're counting, and it's National Pizza with the Works except Anchovies Day. Because nobody likes anchovies except freaks.
I accidentally ordered anchovies on a pizza when I was in Italy.
Ugh. Did you like it?
It was better than I thought.
Yeah.
But I was also drunk.
Ah, there's that.
So
it was on this day in 1954. They closed it. It's on the East Coast.
1954, the Biltmore.
Ellis Island.
Oh, yeah.
And in 2001, I'd forgotten this one. In 2001, the plane crash happened. And this was, 2 months after, or a month, 2 months after September 11th. The plane crashed in Rockaway. Remember that? And it like almost 300 people almost died.
I'm laughing, not be the crash. I remember everybody flipping the hell out because we all thought it was terrorism.
Yes, because it was a bigger jet in front of them created that.
Did anybody die?
Everybody died.
Oh, everybody died there.
Yes. Yeah.
300?
It was, I think 285, 300 somewhere. In
wow.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling's 37 today. Anne Hathaway's 35. Tanya Harding is 47 years old. She's not getting better with age, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that in.
No. She stopped getting better like immediately after she was a news story.
Yeah.
It's been downhill fast.
Yeah, it really, really has. Those are your headlines.
The Radio Revolution, MoJo 50.
Many are closely watching the outcome of the Florida Senate race between Governor Rick Scott and incumbent Democratic Senator Bill Nelson. Just as many have been asking where Attorney General Pam Bondi has been during all of the election controversy. With video showing what appears to be ballots being loaded onto trucks out of private cars, an affidavit being signed by a former Broward County employee who swears election staffers were filling out blank ballots, along with other controversial goings-on, it seemed almost impossible for many to believe that Bondi could remain silent. On Sunday, Bondi finally took action after Florida Department of Law Enforcement indicated that they had not launched an investigation because they saw no evidence of fraud. Bondi wrote in a letter, "I fail to see how the Florida Department of Law Enforcement can legitimately refuse to investigate where there is reasonable suspicion that may lead to the discovery of criminal conduct of the 2018 election, actions that gravely damage Floridians' confidence in our electoral process and our democracy. I am directing you to take the necessary steps to promote public safety and to assure that our state will guarantee integrity in our elections process." Scott also filed a lawsuit on Sunday asking a judge to order police to impound voting machines and ballots when they are not in use. Look for more lawsuits to be filed later this week. Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections said that it would be impossible for machines to complete the recount by Thursday's deadlines. If the deadline is missed, then the results on file at that time take their place. While this would be good for the GOP, Nelson would surely not go down without a fight. And that's today's Reality Check with Susan Knowles.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
All right, get your comments in all across social media platforms, especially MeWe.com. It's MEWE.com. A lot of people have asked, and they're like, how do you spell that? I'm looking at it. It's M-I-W-I.
Just remember, it's just MeWe. It's not me. We.
Yeah.
It's
MEWE. DoJo.com. Check it out today and get the comments in. We use the hashtag What I Learned Today. It's at Doc Thompson Show, at Real Brad Staggs on the other social media platforms. A lot of people still like to tweet as well.
Hyperion 5182 over on MeWe. California needs to be shouted down by the rest of the country. Good luck with that one.
My frustration, my other additional frustrations with the wildfires are this. You people are hypocrites in another way. Number one, you're hypocrites about the fires compared with guns, like I already pointed out.
Right.
Listen, we need to talk about guns immediately while there's still blood flowing from the soon-to-be lifeless bodies. People are still gasping their last breaths. We just got word that somebody was shot, but we've got to talk about this because we'll never talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Then why don't you want Trump talking about issues with fires immediately? Because it's insensitive? Do you see?
Because they want everything their way.
Exactly. It's all filtered through what they believe, no, what they feel at that moment. And what they feel is sadness, not just for people who lost homes or are victimized by a fire. They're feeling sadness for people and things they know. How many people that are melting down these celebrities at Trump? Sarah Silverman, Zach Braff, whatever, all of those. Alyssa Milano. How many of them tweeted about the floods in West Virginia a couple of years ago, in southeastern West Virginia? How many of them posted things on social media about other fires, for example? One's in the Northwest, one's in California that were further north of them by a few hours. Did they have the same reaction? No, they did not. Now, some of them may have supported some of those humanitarian efforts. Sure, they may have, but not to the same level, not with the same passion, not the same number of them, because it's what they know. But there's another problem with it. Those people are rich. Not that rich people don't need help, because you could live, you could have a $200,000 a year income and live in a $500,000 house in a nice gated community in an area and still be house poor. You could still be counting on that money that you make as your job to maintain your lifestyle.
Right.
Now, a lot of people say, well, that's irresponsible. You're right. Maybe it is. But even those people, most of them can't do with being unemployed for a year or two.
No. You need the money.
Right. So it's not that I don't understand those rich people in that community in California can also be hurting financially as well. But you still have more money, more opportunities for future jobs, for people to help you, social media, for all of this stuff than a lot of people do. And yet you're playing the victim. Alyssa Milano Cookies tweeted out late last week as the fire got near her house.
Yeah.
Neared her house?
Yeah.
Sounded weird when I said it. Neared her house, that she had to evacuate quickly. And she grabbed the kids and her Doc Marten boots.
Well, yes, you don't. Do you want Doc Marten's Doc Marten
Was
boots
that
to get
product
done?
placement? Or was she just, why would you care about a type? I had, all I grabbed was my shoes and the kids. Okay, it shows that you value things and not people, right? Because we're supposed to
love people and use things. Or, love tables and use penguins.
Apparently it's use things and, use people and love things.
Yeah.
Sometimes for some of us.
Sometimes for
some people say you want to love people and use things.
Yeah.
Some people love things and use people, despite what they say, like people like Alyssa Milano Cookies, right? And she also mentioned that tragically she was going to have to evacuate the horses and her trainer.
She was going to have to let the trainer out of the pen as well.
I don't know if she had to help him.
Get out of here. Yeah, Bob. Go. Yeah. Run, Bob, run. But wait, run.
I said run. So, right.
Wow.
Your horses. Wow, that's got to be horrible. My thought is get the family out.
Yes.
And second is, can I get my passport and IDs and stuff, so I don't have to deal with that crap.
Right. Well, and again, in this part of the country, they in California, in that area, there are two things you got to face. The reality is, at some point, there's going to be a fire or a mudslide.
Okay, which brings the next thing. Trump was right in his. Okay, back up. Some forestry people, firefighters, whatever, trashed Trump's comment saying that's not what caused the fires, and this happens everywhere, and it encroaches in some communities where people live. Okay, you're right. Let's say Trump is completely wrong about the forest management by the state of California. Because Alyssa Milano Cookies and others put out, you realize your federal government owns all of this land, blah, blah. Okay, now it's his federal government, and now you realize that's a problem that the federal government owns so much land. That's a whole other damn discussion.
Yep.
Anyway, they pointed that out. So let's say those firefighters are right. Trump is completely wrong that they have managed it properly, Brad. Great. Why do you live in those areas where you are going to be affected by forest fires and mudslides and earthquakes eventually? It's coming. People that live there, listen to me. It's coming. It doesn't matter where you are there. You will eventually be hit by a fire, an earthquake, or a mudslide in those areas. Those are things that Southern California is affected by.
Yes.
Guess what? If you live in Florida, eventually you're going to be affected by a hurricane.
Yep.
Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, you're eventually going to be affected by a hurricane. Gulf Coast or the East Coast states, Carolinas, Virginia, you're going to be affected by a hurricane eventually, all the way up to New York and up into New England. It's what happens. Guess what, people of Detroit and Chicago and Cleveland, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, you're going to be affected by a snowstorm, a blizzard eventually, a debilitating one. These are things that happen. Oklahoma, yes, more tornadoes are on the way eventually. We know this. So to the bigger point, why is the federal government always responsible for redistributing the wealth around to those areas that are hit? You have made a choice to live in those areas. You are going to be affected by those things. At some point, we need to draw a line in the sand and say, people of Southern California, save now for the next fires.
Yeah.
KEMA, do they have a KEMA? California Emergency Management? If they don't, you need one, and you need to lay off everybody else. FLEMA? Does Florida have one? You need one, and take care of when a hurricane hits yourself. Because guess what? Those of us that are living in Pittsburgh don't get all that sunshine. We don't have access to those fresh-grown fruits and vegetables like you do year-round, those citrus fruits. We don't get those things. We don't get access to Disney and all of the things that come, the good things that come with living in Florida. So we shouldn't have to pay for the bad things about living in Florida. Sorry.
By the way, there is a KEMA. There's the Consumer Electronics Manufacturers Association, the Cumulative Environmental Management Association, the Canadian Egg Marketing Agency.
Do you see?
And so on. Yeah.
Do you see how frustrating that is?
Yes,
though?
it
We
is.
all
Yes.
have these things.
Yeah.
When you live in an area, there are benefits.
Choose your disaster.
And downsides to living in every area.
Now, Fred over on MeWe says he's a retired fire service, 25 plus years. This amount of fire is extremely abnormal out there in California.
Okay.
So,
but eventually these things do happen. And as much as I am willing to help my neighbor as an individual, I'm tired of the federal government saying, oh, look at this, there's a hurricane. Wow, is that a shock to anybody? Why are the people in Minnesota paying for Florida? If you're in Utah, why are you paying for hurricanes that hit Texas? And by the way, if you're in Florida, why are you paying for snowstorms that hit Idaho? You shouldn't.
In Florida, when we went down there to work on some insurance claims after, what was the big hurricane a year ago?
Whatever.
Whatever it was. The houses that were built pretty much right there on the beach. I mean, they got washed away. Half of the house got washed away. And they were going to rebuild because they had flood insurance. And it's a very fine distinction between
Flood insurance.
Flood and
then hurricane.
If it comes up from the floor, it's flood.
And that's the whole big thing. The insurance companies try to get out of it by going, no, most of this water came down. Yes. It wasn't actually a flood. It was rain that fell and flooded your place, and then they don't have to pay.
Flood insurance program is a federal program.
It's a scam is what the whole thing is. The entire structure is a scam.
And by the way, just real quickly, Dennis over on me, we said James Woods helped Alyssa Milano Cookies rescue her horses. I don't know if he did or not, but if he did,
he said, I remember him saying something about it. I don't know if he physically did or if he helped by tweeting about it or if he paid. I don't know, but I saw some help about stuff like that. So good for them. Yeah. That's what it should be. Do you realize FEMA, it's not that I'm insensitive. It's FEMA takes the personal responsibility off of me and you to help our fellow man, our fellow neighbors, our fellow Americans. So if you're in Florida and you say, my God, snowstorm hit Pittsburgh, we've got to do something. You should be writing a check. You should be traveling. That's what keeps you connected with your fellow human being. That's you sacrificing. That's what Christians are called to do. Not, I pay my taxes. Those bastards got enough of my money for FEMA.
Right.
That removes the humanity from it.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to help each other.
All right, get your comments in. Got to remind you about MoJoWildRice.com. MoJoWildRice.com. They are sending a bunch of rice so Chef Patrick can make it for Black Friday. We're going to have a rice bar, which is really cool. If you've seen the mashed potato bars, you've seen those at weddings?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Where you get a big pile of mashed potatoes and they have little toppings you put on it. Is awesome. We said, let's do that with their wild rice. Because it does, you can do it both sweet and savory. Usually mashed potatoes are not sweet.
I can see, though, where if you put some mashed potatoes down a little maple syrup.
Is generally do mashed potatoes?
No, they're not sweet.
But it's one of the beautiful things about the wild rice from Nostalgia at MoJoWildRice.com. You make it sweet and savory. You probably had rice pudding. You can put some fruit and some sweetener on top and some cream. Oh, it is so good.
But when you say rice pudding, the first thing I think about is the traditional rice pudding. But this would not be the same.
No, exactly. It wouldn't be. But I'm saying rice is used sweet. You know, you can use it like that. But you can also use it in a more traditional way and savory, and it's fantastic. Go to MoJoWildRice.com. It is really a superfood grain. The only grain native to North America, naturally gluten and cholesterol-free, trace vitamins and minerals. You need this in your diet. Your family needs it, and it is fantastic tasting. So you can use the rice. You can use the rice flours and mixes they have from it, so you get those same nutrients, but you can make cakes and breads and different things with the rice flours, especially those people that are on restrictive diets where you can't have certain things like the gluten. This is going to be a world of good for you. Plus, they have jellies and jams and syrups. I think it's, 18 or 27, a whole bunch of different varieties of jellies and jams. Try all of the great products at MoJo Wild Rice, and it makes great gifts through the holidays because you can get those sampler boxes. MoJoWildRice.com.
Or you can just give a fruitcake that's going to sit around for,
Like I said, go to MoJoWildRice.com and try it today. A new study from the University of Innsbruck in Austria said that black coffee drinkers often have a psychopathic and sadistic trait.
Is there something new in this study?
So if you drink your coffee black, you have traits that are psychopathic or sadistic. I'm not sure if I can rely on investigators or researchers at University of Innsbruck in Austria. We have to go to the professionals. DMXDM, the proprietor of American Pride Roasters Coffee, joining us now. DM, how are you?
Good. Good morning.
Does based on your knowledge, does that sound reasonable that black coffee drinkers often have psychopathic and sadistic traits?
Well, I do know this one radio host. We'll call him Dirk Thompson. I know that guy. He loves his coffee black only.
I like it like my men, Josh.
I mean, and the guy's kind of. I mean, we can see those traits, and there's another rumor that this same guy, he drinks coffee at Starbucks every once in a while, which is kind of known for being a little bit, burnt, bitter. And that's, if you dig into that study, that's kind of the thing is these people, these psychopaths, they like the bitter taste. So, I'm not going to say it's wrong, but
I'm going to say it's wrong.
As one of the leaders of the Jackhole Nation, I think that
I would say this. There's one flaw, though. Yes, I drink my coffee black like I like my men, but the reason I drink it black isn't that I like the bitter. I would rather have it all sugared up because I don't want the calories.
Yeah,
that's all.
And that's how I drink my coffee too. So I guess maybe. I've never been called a psychopath. Well, okay, there was that one time.
at least not not to your face.
Not to my face. Well, there was that one time. But, anyway, see, the thing about American Pride Roasters, we try to avoid that bitter, sharp taste. So I guess I got to roll that back a little bit. As long as Doc is drinking the APR, everything's going to be good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, if you haven't been to it, it's AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Try it today. They said in the study that it's about the bitter taste. So and even though it was done by the University of Innsbruck in Austria, they actually studied Americans. About 1,000 Americans reported that their taste preference. You like it more bitter, more this, more that. And then answered a personality questionnaire assessing questions about Machiavellianism, psychopathy, narcissism, everyday sadism, trait aggression, and the 5 big factors of personality.
Oh, it sounds like my ex-wife.
By the way, it was everyday sadism, not the
sounds like my ex-wife.
Yeah, not the yearly sadism or the highbrow or specialty sadism.
Well, yeah,
this is your everyday.
Nobody's
your
gonna
casual sadism.
Nobody's gonna object to special occasion sadism.
Right, exactly. This is the everyday, the serious stuff where people are flippant about their sadism. They said the results confirm that bitter taste performances are positively associated with sadism and psychopathic traits, and it's all about the bitter. So if you like the bitter flavors, you're a nut. That's what I got out of it.
But APR coffee strains out all the psycho from their coffees.
That's right. That's right.
We try to keep that to a complete minimum, if at all possible. And that study may be a little bit off because if they got a bunch of Midwesterners from, say, February, they're all going to feel like psychopaths anyway. So there's a lot to that that's missing. I think we need to do a more in-depth study maybe on our own.
Now, and here's, I use this, report this study, as we have a 9 mil, no, this is 45, right?
That's a 40.
It's 40, 40 laying on the counter here, so.
Yeah. That's, what, that gun is there just to keep honest people honest.
Good. That's what we like. Hey, DM, I wanted to discuss with you a couple of things. First of all, we got a shipment of coffee in, and what is the name of the mint that is named after Matt Locke of the Conservative Cartel?
Yeah, listen, do me a favor, okay? You got to go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and check out the P-Hat Matt, because that is where you get your peppermint mocha coffee.
I'm drinking.
It seems like in hour 2, that's when you guys go and throw Matt under the bus. So I figured I'd have to do that too.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm drinking. I made it iced coffee version of the P-Hat Matt, and it is tasty. I like that mint, that nice little subtle mint flavor.
Where'd he go? He was just wandering in, and he heard his name. Oh, there he is. P-Hat Matt, come on in.
Have you tried the coffee, Matt? Matt Locke popping in now.
I have not.
There's some in the kitchen right now. You'll have to make your own.
Oh, well, then I'm out.
Good grief.
Wow. You could try the iced version, but you don't know how to drink iced coffee. You drink hot coffee.
No, I drink hot coffee, and I like it black, just like you.
Okay, good. See, do you like the bitter?
Yes.
Oh, see, psychopath.
There it is. I'm a psychopath.
I don't.
Well, try it. It's
well,
awesome.
we know that Matt likes he doesn't really like the sweet flavor, so this is kind of a one-time thing. It's the holidays. Let's do some peppermint mocha, and we'll roll it into something else come 2019 and make it a little bit more savory, maybe.
Good deal. And what are some of the other flavors you have now that maybe people aren't familiar with, or things you're working on?
One of the other things we're doing a MoJo 50 coffee. It's an unflavored, pretty bold blend with a nice mellow aftertaste. And we have that other one we're working on for you, and I didn't know if we want to talk about that now, or if we want to wait until Black Friday.
You can hold it off on Black Friday.
Okay, because that one might be kind of fun, and it's definitely something different.
One of the things, and I want to make the second thing I want to mention is we're prepared now to make the announcement that American Pride Roasters coffee is the official coffee. We're prepared to say it is the official coffee of MoJo 50. They have signed on board.
That's huge.
A partnership, the official coffee of MoJo50.com, and we thank you guys very much for that.
Well, thank you. It is an honor.
Yeah. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
For you to be on. Yes, thank you for recognizing that.
Are you guys going to put me to work then on Black Friday?
Assumed, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the things I love about American Pride Roasters coffee truly is that although I liked some flavored coffees, I hate when they're novelty flavors. I don't know how else to describe it. Where it's goofy. I like coffee flavor.
It's
I
fake.
like. It's fake.
It's fake, and that's what I'm trying to avoid that at all times.
No, I mean, listen, if you go in and get someplace and you get a big syrupy drink or whatever, yeah, those can be good. But if you get flavored coffee,
what's wrong with that? I get flavored coffee. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing. That's fine if that's what you want. To me, I like coffee flavor, but I'm not opposed to trying some flavor. There's some people that are purists. Like if it's not just straight coffee flavor, they're out. I'm kind of in the middle on that stuff. I like coffee flavor, but some of these others are good as long as they're not novelty, as long as it doesn't taste like something that your 8-year-old's going to be like, this is so wonderful, that it's still coffee.
It can have a coffee base and still be yummy.
That's what I'm saying. American Pride Roasters has achieved that, unlike any I've ever had, because, and DM, this is the only way I could describe it. It's almost like when you drink American Pride Roasters coffee, if it has a flavor like chocolate raspberry or something, it's the idea of those flavors are kind of in the back of your head as opposed to your mouth going, oh my gosh, it tastes like I have a mouthful of strawberries or raspberries is the case maybe.
That's something that we try to target, and we're successful on. There's a couple. The blueberry donut hole's a little bit more over the top. But
actually, I thought you were spot on with it.
I've been messing with that for years, actually, because there's a little bakery in Pella, Iowa called Yarsma, and they make terrific blueberry donut holes, and I wanted to get that flavor, and that one I'm really happy with. One we're still toying with, the Bananas Foster. I think that one's going to be a winner too. We're not quite ready for that one yet, but I think I sent you guys a bag of that. It's pretty good.
I didn't see it. Oh, I'm trying that tomorrow.
I still want to ask DM how's your hole.
Hi, I'm Blueberry. So
we've gotten that question at the farmers market more than a couple times.
No, the other one that the only one that I've ever had that I thought you guys missed your mark, and transparency, and I've told this before. I think it was the pumpkin, the one, and I haven't had any
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had any updated versions since then, and it wasn't bad. I just thought it wasn't. It just didn't quite hit it. I thought the spice was a little off versus the pumpkin. The pumpkin quotient versus the spice quotient.
Yeah, we've left it a little bit more spice rich. We've toyed around with it some. It's a little bit more refined, but we had such a strong fan base with it to begin with. I've kind of not tampered with that too much. In fact, we used to only sell it in October, November, December, and people kept asking for it, so we've left it up year round.
Wow, maybe my tastes are off on it then.
No, that couldn't possibly be it.
It has nothing to do with the psychopathic tendencies, I promise.
It wasn't bitter enough. How about this? Could you do a yam one for those people down south? So you got, the first thing is like pumpkin, and then you've got sweet potato pie for the people.
Yeah.
And here's what you do, DM. You just put a different label on your first Thanksgiving.
Don't say that.
They won't even know.
Don't say it on the air.
That's right. We get.
Just edit that part out. Edit that part out.
They won't even know. They're like, yes, that's right. He's supporting sweet potato. So you make a pumpkin pie and a sweet potato, just different labels. That's all.
We may have done that with a couple of those novelty flavors, like the Trump one that we did, just because it's easier to keep a blend consistent. So if we know people are going to like it, but that was unflavored coffee, not flavored coffee.
Gotcha. I understand. All right. By the way, I really think you guys needed to do a Matlock decaffeinated. Whatever you make for him in the future needs to be decaffeinated.
Decaf, so we should do that. That's
Seriously,
actually a pretty good idea.
Because anyone that listens to the Conservative Cartel understands Matt does not need coffee.
No, he doesn't need caffeine. He doesn't need to get jacked up like that.
That's right. He does not need caffeine.
He is naturally jacked.
That is true.
He's got me outraced in coffee cups by 10 a.m. too.
All right, DM, people can find out more about American Pride Roasters coffee at
AmericanPrideRoasters.com.
Excellent. And on the social media, you're on Twitter, you're at APR Coffee?
Correct.
All right, good deal. Well, we hope people will order. We'll see you on Black Friday, and congratulations on being named the official coffee of MoJo 50.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
And remember, our coffee here at MoJo 50 is not only made with the APR coffee, the finest coffee, but it is the world's best water straight out of the MoJo River, flowing right next to the studio.
Beautiful.
It
crystal clear.
really is just amazing.
Whose source, by the way, we have tracked now to a sparkling natural spring
in the Swiss Alps. It is amazing.
Goes all the way through.
It's miraculous that it makes it all the way from the Swiss Alps to the MoJo River right next to our studio. I mean, you can taste the glacier. little signs along the river posted, taste the glacier right here. Just scoop up a big old handful and drink it down.
Get your comments in on social media, and if deemed worthy by Phil Ronisberg, you will be
Ron Phillips.
You will be included in the show close at the end of the broadcast with the hashtag What I Learned Today. Make your plans now, though, for Black Friday, and sign up for the Black Friday prize pack. We have so many things in it. We can't list all of them, but we have a gun from Tar River Arms. We've got from Dog Tag Furniture, one of those wooden flags that are awesome. We've got a Minuteman watch. We've got some stuff from the Rich Solution, a package of supplements. Some MoJo Wild Rice. I'm sure DM will probably throw in some coffee from American Pride Roasters.
We're going to run out of room on the tabletop here to have an example of all of the
lots of stuff in there. Lots of stuff in there. But
And
you register now at mojo50.com.
Let's see. It was Bearded Larky Farkin tweeted, drinking APR coffee doesn't make you psycho, but it'll likely help make you a jackhole. That is,
I'll give you that.
That
We'll
is
go ahead and give you that.
so true. Pink Freud wants to know, how does one get to be the blueberry donut hole maker?
Sorry, that's a trade secret.
And years,
that's a guarded secret.
And years of practice. Nope, can't read that. Aha! Whatchamacallit tweet. So my mom participated in the coffee study. I will agree with their findings. Yeah. Yes. Bitter and dark.
My parents always drank their coffee black.
I remember
seriously, folks, if it were not for the calories, I would pour like a thimble of coffee onto one of those 5-pound bags of sugar.
Yeah. My dad used to call it coffee milk for me, because they would make it, I guess at a very young age they started pouring coffee into me. I was abused. I was abused as a child. I just want you to know that they forced me to drink coffee with milk and sugar in it.
It's coffee heroin milk, son. That's what it is. Just drink this right now.
Shut up, drink it. Shut up and drink the coffee. That's all I heard as a child.
It's milk, coffee, heroin, bourbon milk. It's fantastic. You'll love it. Just shh, drink the milk.
My childhood is a fuzzy memory.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Tinder dry conditions and gusty winds continue fanning deadly wildfires in California. 29 people have now been confirmed dead in a Northern California blaze. Another 228 people are unaccounted for. Gary Green lives in Chico in Northern California, among the thousands forced to flee their homes.
We got a call at 6:30 in the morning. Wife looked out the window, and they said the fire was at Polga. It was behind my house. And at that moment, it was time to get out because the winds were roaring. There were probably about 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds.
He spoke with KGO-TV. To the south, a wildfire has charred more than 130 square miles in western Los Angeles County and southeastern Ventura County since Thursday. At least 177 homes burned to the ground, and 2 people are confirmed dead in Southern California. A second high school coach who had dealings with the gunman who killed 12 people at a Southern California bar recalls him as volatile and intimidating, and he says that repeated complaints to school administrators about Ian Long's behavior failed to prompt any action. The White House now offering a more detailed explanation for President Trump's cancellation of a visit to a cemetery in northern France to honor fallen American troops.
As the president returned to Washington from Paris on Sunday evening, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders issued a statement saying Saturday's weather was near zero visibility, which grounded Marine One. Responding to criticism for not driving to the event, she said a motorcade would have required road closures, and the president didn't want to cause that kind of unexpected disruption.
White House correspondent Craig Clugston. More Florida counties to begin their vote recounts today in the razor-close races for Senate and governor. Wall Street Dow futures down 36 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dating today with all the crazies out there has to be nuts.
Yes, it really would. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a place you could go to find people who think like you do?
Like me, like libertarians and conservatives?
Right?
There is. WeThePeople.dating.
Amazing. What a genius idea. This is a site that you can go to if you're single and you are looking for somebody who you know you're going to think the same way, as for, from a political freedom standpoint. If you want to date the right person for you, you'll find them in one place. WeThePeople.dating.
We've arrived.
What do you mean?
We've hit the big time.
What are you talking about?
I didn't tell you. We're live on MoJo 50 now.
Oh, that. I could have sworn they were just pulling a fast one on us.
Either that or someone at the top has had a mild stroke. Regardless, we now have to make a promo.
Okay, well, that seems simple enough. How long does this have to be?
I was told that we need to take about 60 seconds or so and tell everyone about ourselves.
All right. I was born in a blizzard in the bleak hours of the morning in November.
No, I don't think we need to go back quite that far.
All right, then. I'm Steven.
And I'm Dylan, and we're hosts of the Defenders of American Exceptionalism,
or DOAE show for short.
And we are live Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on MoJo 50.
We go through the politics of today and how it affects the culture and vice versa. And we try to bring it back to the Constitution and the principles above privilege.
I feel like there should be a shirt made with that on it.
Yeah, we already have that.
Oh, so don't forget to check us out. Defenders of American Exceptionalism live Wednesdays and Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern on MoJo 50.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
It's a funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
The mothership has landed.
I want to take a moment and say a truly heartfelt and humbled thank you for people who have donated to our little cause here.
It is amazing the response we've received.
Yeah, we launched a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, and if you'd like to donate, you still can. It's at mojo50.com. Just look for the red banner at the top. As I mentioned earlier, how difficult it is for businesses to grow, to get the exposure. We're going to do fine. But we need to grow a lot faster, and that's why we reluctantly decided to try to crowdsource some of this to pay a few bills early on so we can grow faster. We're going to do a lot of good in the world in general. Certainly a lot of good for conservatives and libertarian causes in particular, and people. Anybody that's listened to me for any length of time in the past at other platforms, radio stations I've been at, understand the commitment I've made to helping people to give. If you've run into me out on the street, if you've been on tour, any of this stuff, I'm genuinely grateful for anybody that supports it. I've never understood radio hosts, or especially radio hosts, because we're just so insignificant. I mean, in the world of fame, even.
You're at least as important as... No, you're not as important as Hollywood actors.
No, we're not. That's what's so silly about it. We're just not important. So you get these radio hosts out there, they're like, hi, walking around, and people are like, yes, Mr. Staggs, and they, give you the Heisman, stick the arm out and brush by you like they're from, like, are you kidding me?
Don't look me.
Listen, if you're willing to put the time in to listen to this blah, blah, and support me, I absolutely am going to spend time with you. First of all, I want to know what has gone wrong in your noggin that you would appreciate what we do, because I'm trying to
it's like people who become psychiatrists to heal themselves. I'm trying to hook up with as many people as possible that appreciate this level of humor and entertainment where I'm like, maybe I can figure them out and then in turn figure out what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and especially if on the street, if you do run into Doc and you're hot, that helps. If you're not hot, if you just tape $100 bill to your forehead,
yeah, that'll help too. Though
that does
all
seem
of those
to
things
it's
help
very
a lot.
attractive to him.
But sincerely, thank you very much for supporting the platform in any way you've been able to do so, even if it's just share it, even if it's just listen to us, and if you've donated money. And over the weekend, late last week, we got a couple of checks that people mailed us that don't feel comfortable donating online.
Let me tell you, it's in this stuff. It's very humbling.
It's one thing to see the numbers online. Another thing when people mail you checks, and we got several $500 checks in. And I look at this and I open the envelope and I'm thinking, these $500 is a lot of damn money. $50 is a lot of damn money. I mean, I get that, folks. Don't misunderstand. I know what we're asking, and we put a pretty large goal up, but I get it. I understand that. I just know what we're trying to accomplish here, and we will not forget that.
And we'd like to believe that this will be around after we're gone.
Yes.
That this is something that we're really just stewards of. I mean, we want to make some money along the way. We have mortgages.
Three things. We want to make some money. We want to do a little good in the world, and we want to have some fun doing it. All of us that are involved in this at this point on this platform and Spoonie.com are roughly in the same age bracket. Brad is far older than all of us. I'm the youngest by far. It's like a 15-year spread, but roughly, we're not teenagers anymore, that type of thing. None of us have 40 years left in this industry.
No.
Or on this planet for that matter. But
thankfully.
So this is our last big hurrah. Anything that doesn't work here is like, I'll go work for somebody and sell clothes or shoes or something. But this is the last big push for us. Yeah. And we want to do some good and we want to make some money because we all need money to live. So this is our big plan, and we are committed to helping. So thank you for helping us. It's MoJo50.com if you'd like to help out. If you can only help out by listening, thank you as well. It is MoJo50.com.
And now, the totally acceptable racist joke of the day.
What's the best thing about dating white girls?
What is the best thing about dating white girls?
The best thing about dating white girls is you never have to meet their fathers.
This has been the totally acceptable racist joke of the day.
It's a new feature we'll do the top of every third hour. Mojo 50. Your daily mojo. It's a totally acceptable racist joke of the day. They're acceptable because they're about white people.
Yes, and jokes about white people are acceptable.
Exactly, and we know that. So every day we will offer, because you want to do jokes, but it's so difficult to joke around now. Even some of those classic jokes you can't use because they're, it's not even race, they're just racial sometimes. And people say you can't do it. But we know that it's perfectly acceptable to be as racist as you want against white folk.
Because you can't talk about the Polacks anymore.
I think you can still talk about them. They're white.
But you can't. You try to tell them.
You can tell Polish jokes. They're white. They're white folks.
There's Polak jokes and there's Polish jokes.
That's the same thing, aren't they? The Poles.
I'm going to leave it there. I'm just leaving it there.
All right. Just leave it right there. Anyways, we'll offer those up every day for your enjoyment. Tar River Arms is waiting for you to check out the revolutionary website that they had set up. TarRiverArms.com. They have revolutionized the way you can purchase firearms online. Nancy Pelosi came out and said that they are going to focus on gun control in this new Congress coming up.
Good, because that's what I want Congress to do.
So get your gun now at TarRiverArms.com. They are going to focus on this. Did you see what is his? Ashton Kutcher. Did you see his crazy anti-gun comments?
What did he do?
Anti-gun crap. I tweeted at him a bunch in response, and of course, I guess a bunch of other people had commented in a similar way, asking him, okay, what are you suggesting for gun control? Because his was gun reform now.
Okay.
Gun reform. So I said, one of the things he wrote was, nobody is taking away your gun or my gun. I can still go hunting. I can still protect my home. Gun reform now. So I asked, and what, quote, gun reform do you propose? Please be specific. Then I went through some of his old tweets. Some other people must have asked that as well because he offered some specifics. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Beef up ATF.
Beef up the ATF.
That's specific, right? He wants to beef them up.
Okay. I have no idea what he means.
What do you mean beef them in their numbers? Hire more ATF agents. Okay, and then what will they do?
Enforce the laws.
So you're saying we've had people using guns to commit mass murders because ATF doesn't have enough employees? They don't have enough money. Not enough computers, enough vehicles, enough dogs. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know how you connect the dots in that one.
There is none.
There aren't any dots.
That was him being challenged, didn't have an answer, and threw that a beef up ATF. That's like,
yeah.
You know how?
Yes.
Here, you know what gun reform we need? People need to stop shooting other people.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
It's the blanket statement that, again, you're not being specific. He offered some others. Here it is.
Oh, good.
Prevent hostile, mentally unstable people from getting guns. There it is.
Should we have a conference call with him and let him know that that's already out there? You're not supposed to.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Right? That's you don't. Okay. He said support our veterans that are returning from war with resources. Yes, you're right. I've said that before. But by putting that, you're suggesting that more veterans are killing people.
Well, in this case, and he's referring to the shooter in Thousand Oaks being
who was a Marine. Okay.
PTSD.
What about the Parkland kid?
Right.
What about the guy in Vegas? What about all these others? What about Adam Lanza?
Yeah.
Really?
Crazy,
was he a SEAL? Adam Lanza?
Crazy knows no bounds.
Right, exactly. Now, he's right. We do have a mental illness problem in America, and mental illness is a broad statement. I know that. Also meaning people with PTSD. I don't know if it's actually classified a mental illness, but it is a mental disorder. You have some needs.
Certainly is.
Okay, and I want to help veterans regardless. But when you put them out there specifically, that's that's troubling for me. Okay? So he had some other ones out there too. You ready?
Yep.
He said, ATF needs to require background checks. Aha! Background checks, Brad. In California, they need background checks. Yes.
They already have those.
What's that?
They already have those.
No. Before you can buy a gun to check your background.
Yes. Before you buy
because I know Tar River Arms, you just go there and buy one, and they'll just they send a drone to your house with cases of guns, and no one will ever know.
Nope. You have to have a background check before you can purchase a handgun.
Yeah, Dana Lash, our friend Dana Lash, responded to that and said, we do have background checks. California has universal background checks, plus a 10-day waiting period, registration, mag capacity limits, red flag laws, ammo only through an FFL, and an assault weapons ban.
Yeah. It's still, and I hate it's.
He offered some others, though.
All right.
He said, improve state and federal systems to vet owners and buyers. Aha!
Improve state systems to vet owners and
again,
like
California. Yeah, that's another word for background checks.
Right.
And then,
yes.
Okay. And then here it is. He offered up this one, and this is a little bit different. Okay. Tie mental health records to the purchase of firearms.
I believe they already are.
Are they?
I believe so. Are they not?
And if you want to do more of that, so then you're saying we got to change the HIPAA laws? And if you're going to change the HIPAA laws, and let's say we go full bore with mental health, because I don't know the limitations on mental health records and purchasing firearms.
It's it is tied in there. I've talked to
okay.
Yeah, it's tied in.
Let's say we go bigger with it, Brad. What does that mean? What are the standards? And I asked him specifically and not had a comment back from him yet that I've seen. What specifically what is the standard? You've got to tell me what the standard is. So if we say, I agree, mentally ill people should not have guns. Listen to me, folks. People on the left. I, Doc Thompson, staunch defender of the Second Amendment. I am this close to being an anarchist about stuff. Say yes, mentally ill people should not have firearms. If a member of my household was mentally ill, I would not allow them to have a firearm. The question becomes, what is the standard of mentally ill?
Yes.
What is the standard of mentally ill?
Yeah. How do you mark it?
If you've been ever declared mentally ill. Got it. Okay, because they'd say, well, we can go to extremes, Doc, right? We can at least rule out some people. Okay. What does that mean? If you've ever been in an institution?
Or if you've ever been diagnosed with depression?
Let's go the extreme. Let's go. Doc, there are some obvious ones.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever been institutionalized and had doctors declare you criminally insane. Okay.
All right.
Has anybody ever been declared criminally insane erroneously? Has anybody ever been declared criminally insane and then gotten better? Because there are lots of people that have been in mental institutions that you wouldn't think. James Taylor wrote Fire and Rain. Fire and Rain?
Ooh, I've
seen fire and I've seen rain. Okay. Fire and Rain in a mental institution.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not allowed to have a gun then because you were crazy once? Let's dumb it down. You go, okay, let's say it's just that standard. If you've ever been declared, we can all agree on it. What about if you move the bar just a little bit? What if you had a hearing to see if you were criminally insane? What if you've ever been to a therapist? What if you've ever been on antidepressants? Mm-hmm. What if you've ever been on certain types of drugs? Mm-hmm. Well, I think we can all agree if you're currently on those drugs, you shouldn't have a gun. There's a lot of people that would agree with that. Certain drugs,
there are. Yes, there
right?
are.
What are some of the ones that they that had a problem with people committing suicide and stuff, or some of the sleeping ones where people were up walking around, raping and
and tweeting
Ambien and some of those. Okay, listen, shouldn't we all be able to agree that if you're on one of those drugs, you shouldn't have a gun at that time because you're not in your right mind? There are a lot of people that would say yes. And if they do, so you have to be off of those drugs then? How long?
Right. And who takes your guns and where do they keep them?
Where do they
How
keep
do you get them back?
And yeah, exactly. All of those things. And then what if the second I go on the drug, they come to my house and look for the guns? How long do I have to be off them? I was on those drugs 20 years ago and nope, sorry. May have some residual effects. You still are. And whatever standard we come up with to determine mentally ill, it does not matter the standard. Somebody will be out there saying, we've got to lower the standard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll never be enough.
Because people are always going to kill. And then, like you said, who's going to take the guns? What is the protocol?
Mm-hmm.
And then, what if I don't tell people that Brad has a gun and he's on? What if I believe, but I don't really know? Then am I subject to some sort of legal action?
Right.
Am I going to be held liable? And then after that, you say, what about the people who are borderline mentally ill, maybe actually mentally ill, that say, I have guns, so I'm not going to tell people I'm mentally ill because I don't want them to take my guns because I'm getting ready to use them to commit a crime. Who's going to turn them in? Maybe they would seek treatment, but because they're crazy, they don't want to give up their guns. You mean to tell me somebody coming back from Iraq or Afghanistan, a vet who has served their country that has a little trouble with PTSD, shouldn't be able to own a firearm in the future? Do you understand the colossal number of questions, gray areas, and overall failures when it comes to even questioning how we set up a system to ensure that mentally ill people do not get a firearm when I agree with you? Mentally ill people should not have firearms. I've agreed with you, and we can't come up with a system.
What you're saying is it's a complicated situation.
No, that's just selling it short. It can't be done. There is no standard to get this done. And that is my frustration because I would love to see this stuff stop. Not only do I want to see people get killed, but I'd also love to stop this debate. Stop guns being vilified because of these mass shootings. It's really frustrating. And then, let's say for a moment, little Ashton got his wish.
Right.
Those standards, some of which already exist, would it stop people being shot with guns? No.
No, because all the guns are not going to simply disappear.
And let's say, for example, Ashton sold his soul, waved a magic wand, caught a leprechaun, whatever it was, and banned all guns from the U.S., repealed the Second Amendment, and all guns disappeared in the United States of America with a magical force field that ensured there would never be a gun in the United States ever again in no way. Would it stop people from being killed?
No.
Would it stop people from being killed in mass?
No.
Would it stop violence?
Nope.
None of those things.
No.
It's illogical.
It is.
The number one most deadly mass killing at a school was not perpetrated via gun.
I remember this one.
It was in the 1920s. It was in Bath, Michigan. Yeah. A nutcase blew up the school full of children. And by the way, he planted bombs in like both halves, like wings of the school, and only one wing of the bombs went off. The bombs went off in one wing, or it would have doubled the amount of children dead. One of the worst mass murders on American soil, Timothy McVeigh used a bomb. Mass stabbings go on all the time in countries where there are fewer guns. If you go across the UK and you look, they have knife bans and knife buyback programs. And if they were to solve that and ban all knives in the UK, soon they would have heavy blunt object bans.
Oh, yeah.
And heavy blunt object buybacks, or golf clubs, or rocks.
Trophies?
Trophies. It does not matter. You people are reacting based on emotion and zero logic. And while I understand why you feel that way, you have to ask yourself, what do you really want? And sit down and talk to people like me. We'll try to come up with solutions best we can. By the way, the shooter there at Thousand Oaks, he apparently stopped during the massacre and posted some stuff to social media. Of course he did.
And just throwing this out there.
He posted a social media message about his mental state during the massacre.
Saying he was sane or crazy?
I think he said he was nuts. Let me see.
What if one good guy had a gun, by the way?
What do you mean?
If one good guy in that whole crowd had a gun.
Right. Here's what he said. One post read, "I hope they call me insane. Wouldn't that just be a big ball of irony? Yeah, I'm insane, but the only thing you people do after these shootings is hopes and prayers. Or keep you in my thoughts every time and wonder why these keep happening." Is that his? Yeah, that's it. I hope they call me insane.
And he pretty much proved it. Yes. Sane people do not do what he did. He did not have to pronounce himself insane for the rest of us to know he was insane. The best thing he did was shoot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because I mean, quite frankly, he saved us the money of a trial.
They're gonna keep going after your guns. You know that'll never stop. It's going to be bad this time around. You have some good news in that the Republicans have the Senate, and of course Donald Trump in the White House. So any gun legislation would theoretically, but you can't trust anybody in this case. Some of those Republicans will roll over in a second because it's that court of public opinion. They know anti-gun hysteria sells better than being pro-gun and being committed to their values.
Well, and we did some work with a pawn shop in Georgia for some TV stuff, and they said every time Obama spoke, gun sales went up. They loved it every time that he opened his mouth.
Right,
and that sounds like what's going to happen with his house is that every time somebody from the house now opens their mouth, it's going to send.
And honestly, it should be a reminder to you. I mean, if you don't like guns, that's fine. If you've considered buying a gun, go to tarriverarms.com. tarriverarms.com. They've revolutionized the way you can purchase firearms because you get to see the guns up close online. High-resolution pictures and 3D imaging, so you can click on the gun and just rotate it around and see it from every angle. It's awesome. It's TarRiverArms.com. They're veteran-owned and veteran-operated, and you're going to get amazing prices. They have the best prices online. They have such great deals. We've highlighted some of the deals that they have, usually $75, $100 cheaper when you buy a little package than you'd get elsewhere. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And they call themselves America's first virtual gun store, and that's why. Because you can, I mean, it's the second best thing to being able to stand there in the gun store and hold the weapon.
TarRiverArms.com. Purchase your firearm today. Do you have firearms, Brad Staggs?
I have a couple of.
I got to go. We got to go shooting because I have a Car 9mm that I've never fired.
I have a couple of. I have some. I have some firearms I have not fired. I need.
Have you ever shot any cars? That sounds odd. K-A-H-R, car,
yeah,
firearms?
I don't think I have, no.
I kind of like them. I was introduced to them by a friend. I like the way a lot of guns are just the way they feel when you shoot them, you know? And you have the same problem I have. Big hands, so you have big feet.
Mm-hmm. You know what they say about big hands and big feet. Big shoes and big gloves.
That's right. That I want a gun that's easy to conceal, but if it's easier to conceal, that means it's small, so it doesn't fit in my hand real well. And then a lot of times if you get the higher caliber and it is a smaller gun that has a little more kick to it and stuff.
Yeah, it's like driving a Chevy into the palm of your hand.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, get those comments in via the social media.
Over on MeWe, interesting discussion. Kinsey Richard says, Ashton Kutcher said no one is taking his gun. With his recommendations on gun reform, I'm wondering if he even has a gun. And then,
did you see did someone mention his comment?
Jeff says he does, Kinsey, and that's another part of the story. He violated California law in obtaining it.
If he's telling the truth,
what does he have?
There's a good chance he did. So he tweeted out in his story. He said, "This isn't an either or. It's both. Support mental health initiatives and support gun reform." Now, my friend gave me a gun as a gift in the parking lot of the Borderline on my birthday. I've never shot it. I don't think I ever will. To the love to the families of the lost.
So it's not even. He doesn't say it's not registered to him, but he does.
Why would you gave it to me in the parking lot? It's almost like he's trying to gin some controversy up.
I don't think this story's ended.
I don't know. I'm calling BS on this one.
Hey guys, Matt Locke, the Conservative Cartel. I'd like to take a minute and tell you about a new weight loss product that's instantly becoming part of the MoJo 50 family. It was launched by a Dallas area company who had taken the good stuff in olive oil and created a patented product that helps people control their appetite and lose weight. It's also a big help to keep the weight off. A 6-year study of former contestants from The Biggest Loser showed that when you lose weight, your body actually thinks something bad has happened, and it fights back by slowing your metabolism and boosting your appetite. One Ridgezone client, Sarah, recently lost over 100 pounds. While she looks amazing, she has been struggling every day with cravings. Now that she's taking Ridgezone, she says it's so much easier to control her appetite and she's not thinking about food all day. Ridgezone contains a patented ingredient that has been shown to boost metabolism and reduce appetite while helping you burn fat. For a short time, we have a 30% off deal for our show. Just go to ridgezone.com, RIDUZONE.com, and enter the code MATT, M-A-T-T. That's Ridgezone, RIDUZONE.com.
Doc Thompson, MoJo 50.
So I got a text from Ron last night. I have to ask him about it. He's like, by the way, how do I find the time traveler videos on YouTube? And I said, seriously, just type in, search for time travelers, and then head down the rabbit hole. Of just what did you want some?
Unfortunately, I did.
And they're seemingly limitless, aren't they?
Oh my God!
The ones that are blurry and they go, well, I traveled to 5553, and when I got back, I realized that we're headed on a very dangerous path. You know, photographic proof of time travel or whatever, and you look at it, and then they'll give you one other factoid, so you're like, okay, and the whole time is so many words. The details surrounding me traveling to 50. You don't need to say all that. Just tell me about 5053. Finally, they get to the picture, and you see it, and it's some grainy-ass, fuzzy thing, and then instantly they go, I found out that time travel only screws up photographic evidence of time travel. Did you see Saturday Night Live?
I saw.
Did you watch the clip?
I watched the clip.
Phil, did you watch
It's Ron.
I'm sorry?
That's Ron over there. That's Ron.
You keep saying
Name's
Phil.
Ron. No, it's Ron Phillips. But
Oh, that's the
you can call
confusion.
him Ron.
Yeah, Ron
I watched
Phillips. Did you watch it? What do you think of the?
Quite honestly, I thought it was funny, but I thought it was.
Do you think it was sincere?
I did.
I thought it was pretty sincere as well.
I think there was enough backlash that in order that there had to be enough that they needed to bring him on.
You're not going to disappoint me, are you?
No, I'm not.
Damn it.
You thought he was
gonna
going to.
disappoint me.
You said that this
He's
weekend.
going to disappoint me because I said it was funny, it was heartfelt, it was this, and I said, and Doc will find a way to tear it to shreds. So please.
Dan Crenshaw was on Saturday Night Live with Pete Davidson. You may recall it was just last weekend. Pete Davidson, the ex-boyfriend of Ariana Grande, Saturday Night Live performer, whatever, was talking about the election. We covered it here, their failure, that it was pretty much just attacking Republicans, which I'm really tired of.
Yeah.
I just, guys, if that's who you are, fine, but let's stop pretending that you're not just left-wing. I'm tired of people pretending that comedy doesn't exist. It's the exclusive domain of, doesn't exist on the right. It's the exclusive domain of Democrats. Tired of all of that nonsense. And then Pete Davidson mocking Dan Crenshaw for having a patch.
Right. You know, he lost his eye
in the war,
or
whatever.
something.
And we went through the whole what makes something funny again. It's time and place and all of that. And people always miss. I don't have a problem with people mocking people with handicaps. I don't. That can be very funny. It's time and place, spirit in which it's intended, these type of things. The spirit in which it was intended, I thought, last weekend was, let's try to keep Republicans from getting elected.
Yes.
And the time and place wasn't such a problem. Well, there must have been enough backlash, like Ron said, that...
Very good.
Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
That they commented on it, but they also saw an opportunity to market and to make themselves look good. I found it sincere.
You know, Pete Davidson always looks like he's high when he's on that show.
You know why?
Because he is.
Because he's always high when he's on that show.
But I had no idea until Crenshaw said it that Davidson's dad was a firefighter and died.
Yeah, what's the deal of that? Is that legit?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Nope. I had no idea. Of course, I didn't know who Pete Davidson was 3 weeks ago. So.
Okay. Ron, do you know the circumstances around it?
No, he was a firefighter. Lost his life in the towers, I think.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that gives a little more, not credence to mocking somebody like that, but at least you realize he's not somebody unaffected.
To be fair with Davidson, and I think he did. I think he was very sincere in the apology, and I think that he's right. He said, because what he said was in a statement that will come as a shock to anyone who knows me, I made a poor choice. He knows that he probably pushes the envelope and he does things that are probably the average person wouldn't do or say, but that's his job.
Well, and you're right, and I'm fine with that. I like edgy humor, love it. Love people to push the envelope, that stuff. We do all the time, that's fine. Spirit in which it's intended, time and place.
Well, and here's the thing.
And consistency.
Yes, and now that you've seen the two of them together and they actually have kind of joked with each other, now Davidson could make jokes about Crenshaw. Now he can do it. The door is open.
So he could do it. He could make jokes about him. And you know what? Crenshaw could just tweet, thanks, Pete Davidson, blah, 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 and make a joke back.
Yes.
And it would be okay.
So you guys feeling pretty good about it then?
Damn it. I knew it. Because Crenshaw even said we can basically, Crenshaw was channeling, what's his name? Can't we all just get along?
Oh, I don't know.
Remember, he's dead now. Dude in California, Rodney King.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was channeling Rodney. We can all get along. So, yes, now we feel sufficiently good about it.
Okay, so the phone ringtone was brilliant.
Okay, so let's get to a little clip. So start off, get a minute or so into it, introduce Pete Davidson, and he started like this.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was a poor choice of words. The man is a war hero, and he deserves all the respect in the world. And if any good came of this, Maybe it was that for one day, the left and the right finally came together to agree on something. That I'm a dick.
You think?
And Dan Crenshaw rolled in next to him then.
Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw, everyone, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for making a Republican look good.
You gotta stop saying that, man. You've been saying it all day.
So that's pretty legit then. That was natural there. That was seems unscripted, or Pete was a pretty good actor about that line. Yeah. With that. He seemed, yeah.
Look, I just wanted to say, for people that don't know, the reason you're wearing an eye patch right now is that you lost your eye to an IED in Afghanistan during your 3rd combat tour. And I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you saying that.
So we good?
We're good. Apology accepted.
Just keep breathing.
His phone goes off. Crenshaw.
You gonna answer that?
No, and I was just gonna let it ring because that's rude to answer. Let's just let it go to voicemail.
No, it's cool. Ariana Grande's love. Cool, man. Yeah.
Oh, do you know her?
All right, so that's funny. All right. So,
okay, that's funny. That's funny. It's funny. By the way, Pete has some interesting timing right there. If he develops that character of the, all right, okay, that kind of, that could end up being a pretty good shtick for him. That part was pretty fun.
last week, I made a joke about a picture of you, and I feel like it would only be fair if you got me back and made fun of a picture of me. Does that sound okay?
I don't really need to do that.
No, come on. I deserve it.
All right, I'll do
Please.
And now, first impressions with Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw.
Thanks, Colin. This is Pete Davidson. He looks like if the meth from Breaking Bad was a person.
Not bad. So there, we're even. All right.
Hold on, well, one more. This is. He looks like a troll doll with a tapeworm.
Yeah, man. All right, that's good. We should wrap this up.
Oh, hold on. No, this is fun. This is fun.
Cool.
He looks like Martin Short in the Santa Claus 3.
When he played Jack Frost and they show a picture of him right there.
And he did.
By the way, one of these people was actually good on SNL.
Well, you're right. No, you're not wrong.
Okay, but seriously, there's a lot of lessons to learn here. Not just that the left and right can still agree on some things, but also this: Americans can forgive one another. We can remember what brings us together as a country and still see the good in each other. This is Veterans Day weekend, which means that it's a good time for every American to connect with a veteran. Maybe say thanks for your service, but I would actually encourage you to say something else. Tell a veteran, never forget. When you say never forget to a veteran, you are implying that as an American, you are in it with them, not separated by some imaginary barrier between civilians and veterans, but connected together as grateful fellow Americans. We'll never forget the sacrifices made by veterans past and present, and never forget those we lost on 9/11, heroes like Pete's father. So I'll just say, Pete, never forget.
Never forget. And that is from both of us.
Commander Dan Crenshaw.
That's nice. That was solid. And Dan, I don't know if he wrote it or they wrote it for him, but it was pretty heartfelt and it was solid.
And Dan had some pretty good timing too. He did. And to read, I think he was reading the punchlines off the teleprompter, which
is
when you're
difficult.
With two eyes, it's difficult.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
And
that is.
Yes. So that's why I think when he was the other stuff, I don't think he was reading the prompter, and that's why the timing was natural. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. No, that's
so tear it apart. Go ahead.
That's I would say, let me first start by saying that's what's supposed to happen. Not the backlash that forces somebody to, and I am willing to give Pete Davidson and the rest of the staff Saturday Night Live the benefit of the doubt and say they got themselves in a corner when they were doing that bit. They didn't know. Once they realized it, this was not just about backlash, but they truly felt that. I'm willing to let it all go and then say that's fine. If I was Dan, I would like to think I would probably let it go as well. I just hope in the future they will think about this ahead of time, not just trashing somebody, whatever, but to be a little more balanced. Not because we have to make sure to get everybody's opinion balanced, just because this is what it's supposed to be. If you're a comedian and you're lampooning the news,
right?
There's not stuff from a perspective of somebody on the right. First of all, just bad business. Why wouldn't you go ahead and lampoon? I am fine with listening to people lampoon me, my values, people on the right, as long as it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. I would watch Jon Stewart back in the day of time. Very good and lampoon it. But I get tired of it being one-sided. So from a business standpoint, you're making a mistake. But if that's what you want to do, fine. I just think you're being disingenuous if you pretend that there is only or more things on the right that are mock-worthy.
Right.
Having said all of that, that's what's supposed to happen. Not the coming together, the left and the right. It's allow people to mock you. If you want to be able to mock other people, it's got to start with you being able to take your lumps. I grew up in a family where you had to dish it out and you had to take it. If you were lacking in one of those, you were not about to survive. I had a person chastise me for mocking something online not long ago. And I responded to them, you would not have survived in Bud and Nora Thompson's house. I cannot thank my parents enough for that. The ability to dish it out and to take it. I worked at a radio station in Cleveland, Lanigan and Malone, for years and produced the show and was on with them. And they had tried all kinds of different people to fit on the show at times. You know, a sports guy or a news guy or somebody would leave and they'd try to hire somebody else or a producer, another personality. And almost all of them failed miserably. And I realized because you had to have both of it. And I would explain to the new people coming in, you've got to be able to dish it out and take it both. Yeah. If you only have one, you're missing part of the equation. That's what being an American is. Being able to look around and be honest, first of all. If something is a failure, and laugh at it, even if it's yours and even if it's something you hold dear. It's the spirit in which it's intended. Somebody's mocking it. They could say very little and piss you off if they're trying to be an ass.
Yeah.
If they're belittling. But they could say all kinds of outrageous things if the spirit is just poking fun of something that's obvious and they're not trying to belittle, not to say something detrimental or something that would cast aspersions upon your character, like you are a failed person or a bad person. You say all kinds of stuff. Start with allowing people to mock you. Then mock away. Somebody else, I think it was Reason Magazine, over the weekend said we shouldn't mock Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for her not being able to afford an apartment.
Why? Because it's low-hanging fruit?
No, because you know, it's not fun to mock somebody, I guess, who doesn't have housing and all this stuff. And I said, no, stop it. I challenged them online. We absolutely should be mocking them. Are you serious? We shouldn't be mocking them?
She's going to be making legislative decisions regarding finance.
It said, criticize Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for her socialist views, not for her struggle to find affordable housing in D.C. And I put, sorry, Reason, you're wrong. Her socialist views and the application of socialism have caused her troubles. Mm-hmm. That's what caused them. Her socialist views, because of how she's operating her life, and the socialist views that she has that we have implemented in D.C. Is D.C. run by a bunch of Republicans? No. The council is almost exclusively Democrat and progressive. That's what's caused her affordable housing issues and things in New York, plus the questions surrounding it. And she didn't have enough foresight, or she's not responsible enough to save money. She doesn't know that she could go out and get a loan or get somebody. She doesn't not resourceful enough to do that, but she can go out there and organize people.
I don't think she really thought the whole thing through before.
Because she's playing the victim. And I also shared with Reason Magazine, I dislike mocking a person's misfortune. I don't mock when somebody breaks a leg, takes a bullet, doesn't have money for housing. I'm not like, ha ha, you're suffering, ha ha ha. I'm mocking the lunacy surrounding it. Either how you found yourself in that situation, dumbass, at times, sometimes you're not, or some hypocrisy that you're not getting, where you're playing the victim and often using satire. So I tweeted mocking a person's misfortune, but I'm not about to let her play the victim. Ignorance and arrogance masquerading as wisdom and humility deserve to be ridiculed. It is our responsibility to beat the hell out of people with the mockery when they're masquerading as wise and humble.
Right.
When they're really ignorant and arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
She's so ignorant, she can't find an apartment when she's going to be making $174,000 a year in just under 2 months. She can't find a way to get an apartment now. Are you kidding me? You can't take a loan out from a cousin, from a friend, from somebody you didn't think enough to save, and you're going to be making fiscal policy, and yet you walk around that you know better, you 29-year-old jackass, and you're telling me about fiscal policy? You're going to be making $174,000 a year after having not worked for it? I've worked since I was 12. I don't make $174,000 a year. And that's not sour grapes. It's just, how dare you tell me about poverty? You grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth, but pretend that you were raised poor. I was raised poor. And then as my folks started making okay money, so I got into my teens, they had to file bankruptcy and we lost everything we have. I get it. And I don't even get it compared to people that are living in the hollers of West Virginia. Mm-hmm. Or out in rural Mississippi. And you're going to tell me about fiscal policy because you understand how difficult it is. Reason, you have lost your mind. These people deserve to be mocked. So in America, allow people to mock you. The things that are funny, the things that are wrong. And number 2, mock back. That's how we solve it.
Yeah. Don't lose our sense of humor. That's been the biggest problem. I think once you lose your sense of humor, you're screwed, because then everything becomes life or death. Everything becomes serious. There's no room for error on the side of comedy. It's a sad state of affairs.
It is, but that's the key. By the way, if you want to help out veterans like Dan Crenshaw, Dan's probably going to be okay. Congressman-elect making $174,000 a year. Not necessarily. But there's a lot of veterans organizations out there. Dan probably supports some, I would guess. You know, this guy understands better than most sacrifice, certainly better than I do. But when it comes to veterans who don't have a whole lot, who have struggled, PTSD or other issues, poverty when they've gotten back because it's difficult adjusting, right. Many of them don't have any death benefits or very limited amounts. So if they pass away, their family is stuck with a $7,000, $10,000 bill. That's out of pocket. That's after taxes. So what do you have to make for that? $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year? Crazy. Let's help out veterans by going to dogtagfurniture.org and buying one of those beautiful wooden flags. These things are so cool. We have one right here in the studio. We're going to be giving one away as part of our Black Friday Building America Marathon package, which you can register for at MoJo50.com. But you can purchase one today, and a bunch of that money, I think all of the profits go to benefiting veterans who die, and it pays for their funerals.
Yeah, a good chunk of it.
I think it's all of the profits. They pay their bills out of it.
Right.
Or if not, it's damn near all of it. Dogtagfurniture.org. They've already helped bury dozens and dozens and dozens of veterans, and they can cite them for you. We know the names. We know some of the families. It's expensive. Think about this. The flags are what, $175?
Yeah, they're varying prices depending on how large it is.
Use the promo code MoJo50 and you'll get a 30% discount when you check out. But so you get that down as imagine you're trying to raise, let's say, $7,000 per. That's a lot of wooden flags at $175 each.
Is. Yes,
it's a whole lot of them. So please buy one today. Maybe you buy one and give it as a gift for the holidays.
It's not a bad idea.
Be a great one to give. And then you tell people, hey, it's got a great piece of art here. They really are cool. And by the way, hanging that on your wall is a constant reminder you did something good.
Yeah.
You helped out a veteran's family. And it's a good conversation starter because then you can tell other people about Dog Tag Furniture. Please go to dogtagfurniture.org and purchase one today. Help some veterans, help veterans' families. It's particularly impactful on this November 12th, 2018, Veterans Day observed. Yesterday was officially Veterans Day, 11/11. Right. But maybe today, as Dan Crenshaw said, you thank a veteran or you tell a veteran, never forget. Please go to dogtagfurniture.org. Veterans, thank you.
What do you mean it's last call?
All righty, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of your Daily Mojo. But before we go, as always, let's find out what we learned today. We learned Broward County has found 14,000 missing ballots that show purple beat blue as 1995's M&M new color, and Clay Aikens is season number 2's American Idol.
Amazing. Truly
Lord knows what else they'll find out today. You know what we may find out? That I was elected.
Yes.
President in 2000.
It's
we may
possible.
find I wasn't even on the ballot.
But it's possible.
You know, you can find enough ballots in the trunk of cars at the Fort Lauderdale airport.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Saying there's a chance.
Also, today I learned that I support your right to protest anywhere, even mojo50.com topless. I do.
That's the important thing, topless.
Right, yes. Yeah, the rest of you, I mean, I guess I do. But ladies, can I back that up? Hot women.
Thank you.
I support your right to protest mojo50.com topless.
Let us support your breasts. See, because normally they need support.
You can say the worst things about us because we support your First Amendment rights topless.
There we go. Well, we're not topless, but you're topless.
You'll be topless and we'll support you.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly.
We would even be willing to engage in verbal intercourse with you.
Yes.
About your objections about this platform.
Yes, we would.
Brad's envisioning verbal intercourse right now.
So many things going through my head right
Let's
now.
move on. Today I learned from Phil Ronsberg that...
Ron Phillips.
I'm sorry?
Ron Phillips.
I learned from Ron Phillips that Pete Davidson always looks like he's high. Because he's always high.
Yes, yes he is. Yes, he is.
I think Pete would let me make that joke.
I think he would.
I want to believe that. I feel good about Pete Davidson today. It's a good, or at least better.
It's a good world now.
Bradley J. Staggs, what, if anything, did you learn today?
Well, I learned that you can catch the entire attention of the entire Jackhole Nation by simply mentioning boobs in a promo. That does it. It's like they're like moths to a flame. It's amazing. I learned that
they really do like the low-hanging fruit. Hey,
they really do.
You know, we didn't have a lot of Bell today. You know what, folks? I'm going to double up on the Bell tomorrow.
All right. I'm going to I'll make a note of that so that we remind
double
you.
Up on the. And by that, I don't mean I'm just going to ring the bell more. No. I am going to have more bell-worthy material tomorrow.
Good. We look forward to that for Tuesday. I did learn that high tech in West Virginia can actually be used in the same sentence.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah,
who knew?
Not often.
And it's not referencing the car that's up on blocks in the front yard?
No, not at all. I learned that we need to warn any potential female protesters that might have it in mind to protest here at Mojo 50 that this is a topless-free zone, but we rarely enforce that rule, just so you know.
And you know what? Don't you want to do things better than France?
Right? We do require armpits to be shaved.
Well, that's assumed. That's assumed.
Or
you don't have to say
laser.
that. No, I was going to say bottomless. Why? That would really show us your disdain for us.
You know,
You show up with your hot body all naked.
I could get behind
parading around. That would stick it to us.
Yes, I could. I learned today the phrase I remember most from my childhood.
Is it the phrase that pays? Hit pay dirt with pay dirt?
Yes. Drink the damn coffee.
Oh, sorry. That's
loving words of my father. I finally learned that this new House of Representatives is going to be good for gun sales.
It's going to be good for gun sales. TriRiverArms.com. Bradley J. Staggs, what, if anything, did the listeners learn today?
Well, over on MeWe, a sampling from Dennis says, I like to count boobs that are in fuego. That means on fire.
In the fuego.
And fire. If you've got.
Does he mean hot, though?
I think he does.
It's not a direct
translation. Yeah, I don't. Yes. The ones that are hot.
Or ones that are flaming. Hot. So hot. So hot.
Yeah.
So hot. Burn the hands.
Hot
Burn the hands.
Yes.
Burn the hands. Burn the It's like when you take the like the cinnamon biscuits or muffins out or cinnamon rolls out of the oven
when you take
too
the
soon.
Muffins out of the
oven and but they're so good when they're hot. Hot. Move my mouth. Move my mouth.
The best muffins burn your tongue.
I'm going to write that down. That's pillow worthy.
John Kloppenberg, the third, not to be confused, John Kloppenberg, the second or first or fourth, says, I enjoy my coffee ground up and in my freezer, just like my ex-wife. Constitution.
You got me, Trey Kloppenberg.
It's John Kloppenberg, the third.
Trey.
He's
a Trey.
What you did there. Constitutional Drunk says, I learned that Alyssa Milano saved Sarah Jessica Parker by opening the stable.
Go, Sarah, run! Run from the fire! Don't wait for the saddle. Go, Mr. Carey. Go, Secretary Carey.
You can slap her on her ass.
There goes Matthew Broderick riding out through the wilderness trying to escape the fire. Save him.
Save him. Shall we move on to Twitter?
Sure.
South Arkansas Jackhole.
Hey there.
Arizona. What's AR? Is that Arkansas?
Arkansas.
It is. I knew that. Learn the root of being a jackhole is being able to take it as well as you dish it out, or we'll chew you up and spit you out.
I feel like there should be some better ones about dish it out and take it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the spitting it out is just...
Is that extra?
I think so. No, it's...
Because remember, we learned from that documentary about prison Arrested Development that in prison you have to lay there and take it, but at home you have to lay there and give it.
Yeah, and that's
the advantage prison
so
has.
much harder.
Or was that Oz we learned that from?
Both. Okay. Let's see, and Saddle Tramp running topless. They already changed their type.
Run, Sarah, run!
Doc Thompson, you need to understand the left wants this legislation to ban guns, and the progressive right wants it to complicate things and gain more power to the government.
Wait. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
So
I agree.
Someone learned something serious and useful today.
And I got it. I gave them their due.
I think that is
the business.
Absolutely.
Okay, as I already mentioned, double the bell-worthy content tomorrow. Bell deficient today.
Be studying the rest of the day.
We'll do that tomorrow. What else do we have coming up? Because I forgot about those new numbers of procrastination. I'll do those too. Can we just do both?
Yeah,
what does Matt Locke have coming up?
Listen. Look, he needs a favor.
He's going to borrow money from me again. All right, got that
really
going.
is. He
All right,
really is.
and I guess that's it.
Yes.
Remember, your Daily Mojo today, a
Ron
Phillips production.
Very good.
Sic Semper Tyrannis, Virginia. Good night, Steve Cannon. Wherever you are. Anya, now, you go home.
Very good.
That's not a Santa Claus, Virginia thing. That's for the people of Virginia, whose state motto is, thus always to tyrants, giving them cold steel.
Closing bell.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and